What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Samsung Galaxy's event, Samsung Galaxy Battles event. I'm Riv, and if you are in the mood for a little PUBG Mobile today, you are in the right spot. Keep it locked. Don't go anywhere. We're going to have some awesome games ahead for you. Today's games are going to showcase 16 content creators going head-to-head, competing with and against 16 players who qualified at the beginning of the month with their best in their PUBG Mobile events to get here, flown live to Texas, so everybody can play in person, face-to-face, and get the nitty-gritty down for that first place prize. Second, third, and fourth, there's going to be a lot of prizes. We'll have interviews with players after the game, so make sure you don't go anywhere, and the players are going to be dropping into 5 maps across the day. So lots of gameplay to cover. There's so much to do, so much to talk about. I can't do it alone, so I'm going to bring in the casters now. The experts coming in, Goj and Mustache Dave are here with me today. Gentlemen, I am so happy you're here. I'm now about to hop into your backpack. Where are we dropping?
Look, I'm dropping right into the booth. As much as I want to be in person in Dallas, I'm going to have a blast in the booth with you guys today. We've got all of our creators in Dallas in a venue. Got a chance to see that. You'll see that a lot more going down the line. I'm just excited to be here. It's going to be hot, though. It's going to be hot drops all day. A lot of fun with all the creators and competitors we have. Dave, I'm sure you're feeling a lot of the same because today is going to be non-stop action.
Exactly. The venue's looking amazing. The players are pumped up. They're having a good time. I think everybody's going to be dropping hot tonight, just trying to pop off and just outshine each other here because tonight it's about bragging rights on top of that cash money that we'll get into here soon.
The chicken dinner and the crown. Well, let's take a little bit of look at the format we're going to be hitting here. I did say how many people we had coming in, the 16 creators, the 16 qualifiers. So we have the 32 players total. You'll see that going in with squads of 4 to earn their ranking and elimination points. And you can see just how they qualified here, Goj. They had to go through kind of a gauntlet, but we have our players now, and they worked hard.
Yeah, 16 qualified players. I was taking a look back to the Discord and all the qualifiers, rounds they had to go through. And some of these teams are fraggers. We're talking like 40 some odd eliminations in 5 games. It's nuts. So excited to see what the qualifying players can do today as well. But you're right. We've got 5 matches to go, 32 players, and we've got, of course, a ton of money on the line. All of these players are going to be excited about this, but especially those qualifiers.
Absolutely. They're all going to be playing on the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra, which is also that first place prize, the coveted prize that everyone wants. Mustache Dave, 10 grand, 4 of those Galaxy S23 Ultras would feel pretty damn good. But you also have the $5,000 for second place and the 4 Galaxy Tab S8 Pluses. How you feeling about who could be grabbing those first 2, Dave?
The competition tonight is going to be steep. There's just a variety of streamers, players when it comes to skill level. So honestly, for me, it's going to be up in the air just because we have all the different maps.
Well, we also have those Buds 2 Pros up for grab for 3rd and 4th place with a little more cash to take home. So you're going to be getting something for those top podium spots. But if you don't grab anything there, everybody's taking home the Snapdragon Elite Gaming Chair for all 32 finalists. So for all your hard work that you've put in already, we're going to see our players taking this home so they can up their game even more to another level once they're back in their own environment. I'm super excited for what we have going today. We have a few maps to take a look at. We have the 3 maps to go across, but 5 all together today. So when we drop into our first one, it is going to be Noosa. Mustache Dave, how you feeling about this one? Everybody's going to be up close and personal.
Yeah, the smallest map in PUBG Mobile. You got the quad in there. It's always a lot of fun to jump on that 4-wheeler. And then there's a bunch of just interesting drop spots that this is my first time watching Noosa be casted at a level like this. So it's up in the air. It's up in the air. Noosa's going to be a hell of a lot of fun.
All right. And then, Goj, we are hitting Erangel. It's going to be a bit bigger. People might be scrounging a little bit more and figuring things out before we find them. You think we get some Dacia Destruction Derby going on?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we talked about the maps. Dave and I will break it down even more later down the road. But you got to think about the fact we've got 32 players, right? 8 teams of 4. 32 players can load into Noosa. That's great. The map is a 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer map. Erangel is an 8 kilometer by 8 kilometer map with 32 players, which will make for some very different style of gameplay. Those vehicles will be super, super crucial. And then, of course, Livix, the 2x2. So it'll be that kind of sweet spot right in the middle. So a lot of different types of action today. And I think the team that's going to come out on top is the team that can kind of accommodate to each map and figure out how to play it right.
All right, all right. Well, if you at home would like to get yourself into a little PUBG Mobile, make sure you're checking out all the socials for Samsung and PUBG Mobile. It's YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, wherever they're streaming, wherever you want to watch it right now, you can. They have VODs for the future as well. Make sure you are locked in to that PUBG Mobile social, as well as Samsung, to check out all their giveaways and everything that they are giving. Also, make sure to download PUBG Mobile. It is free. 5th anniversary just hit. The 5th anniversary event is around the corner, so it's almost no better time to start now than to get integrated into it. There's so much going on in PUBG Mobile. The 2.5 update hit as well, so you know it's always getting flavor from the developers, and they're keeping it spicy. Gentlemen, it's going to be a pretty great day. We have some teams to look at now to see who really is going to be delivering some love to it. We see in the venue that everybody is almost ready, waiting. I was looking at the Discord earlier and was kind of nerding out because I saw people like, hey, I'm at the venue, at this person. I was like, oh my God, the vibe there, I could feel it already. Everyone was just so excited to be participating.
Yeah, no, we've got some amazing content creators that we've already mentioned. Some of those you can see on your screen. I see Bella Fox. I saw the Boat Gang represented with Jacob, of course. You've got Rolex, Powerbang's in the venue. I know that for sure. The mob boss, if you will, of PUBG Mobile is certainly going to be trying to grab a victory today. But some incredible content creators across the board. I mean, Dave, we've been talking about teams all day leading up to this event. You've got Coffee Squad, Gab, of course. But Dave, talk to me a little bit about who you got your eyes on in particular.
Coffee, brewing up some coffee here. You love to see it. So definitely going to be looking at Coffee and Dabs, keeping an eye on them, because I heard they're getting some drama going, man, with Bella Fox and crew on Execute. I heard they cut Bella Fox in the buffet line here today. So there's some drama going down. We might see 2 hot drops between those 2 squads.
I mean, that's what I want to get. I feel like if anybody goes for the late drops, you're just doing yourself a disservice here. We need to get the antics going early. I know, watching a few of the recent games as I was speedrunning things, and I'm sorry, Ghost, to take this from me, but Jacob Gaming just won my heart. I stand Jacob. This guy, if I could say he pressed W, he pressed the sprint the whole time. Forward, and just 1v the whole map.
Yeah, look, I've casted over PUBG Mobile several times, and the Boat Gang is on top every single time. So you can steal that one away from me. I respect it. He's an obvious contender for the top title. I got to shout out Powerbang as well. Obviously, a good friend and an amazing content creator. Been around for a very long time. But can I just say, I don't know if this is rigged or not. Powerbang always plays with Rolex, and for good reason. Every event they ever play, they're together. But Rolex, a former pro and an amazing content creator, that's a team definitely to watch as well.
Got to get that team synergy in there. We're going to have the game coming up quite soon. We'll look at the maps right before we get in so we can keep everybody clued in as to where we're going, how it's happening. What do we think in this first map is going to happen? Is it straight for huts? Is it straight for... What's a certain thing we can see on Noosa that teams might go for here to get those early points?
Yeah, I mean, Dave, I want to throw this to you, but my first take on this is mostly, look, this is the first map of the day. This is the litmus test, right? This is to determine how aggressive can we play. Of course, we've got placement points across the board. I believe it's 15 for first place, but you're getting 2 points per elimination. Now, 32 players, you can start doing the math on how many points you actually can net. So this is going to be the litmus test on how fast some of these teams are going to play and who's going to be the aggressors and who's going to kind of be those slower paced, calculated teams.
Totally agree. I think right now we're in that shotgun meta within PUBG Mobile, and there's a beautiful shotgun on this map that's only on this map that actually changes the firing if you're zoomed in or not. So I'm looking at that. I'm looking at the players dropping, getting that shotgun in their hands, and just running around, balling out, trying to rack up these kill points here.
So as I was getting back into it, I've always loved the UMP. How is the UMP leveled currently in the competition? Good, bad? Are we in a place where I should just now hide and turn my camera off?
Yeah, listen, you could use the UMP, no problem, but I definitely see the players picking up that shotgun all day, maybe with an M4 on the side, all right?
Perfect. After that, I believe we all have Erangel. We switch back. We go Livik as well. Livik is actually a little bit revamped. Do we see anybody going for the monster truck when we hit that, guys? Give me that. Like, is this a specialty? Do we expect antics?
Yeah, no, antics for sure. I mean, we all know kind of the power that vehicles hold inside of PUBG Mobile. And so, of course, in Erangel, you're going to see the vehicle meta. In Livik, you'll certainly see that as well. UTVs, monster trucks, everything under the sun, going to be helpful. But again, you do have other options of modes of transportation on that map. And of course, in Nusa, which is those zip lines, which will be super helpful as well. Of course, those can be destroyed, but something to keep an eye out is who's going to rotate early and quickly using the vehicles, or if they don't want to give away their rotations, maybe they'll hit those zip lines and wrap around the edge of the map.
Heck yeah, sounds good. We're almost ready to get into game. To remind you, everybody is playing on that Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. It's the next big step in mobile tech. Highest cam res on a phone, the resolution that you can get on a phone right now. And it's a no-worry nighttime shot. You have a night mode powered by nightography that will give you the shots where you just don't even have to worry. The fastest Snapdragon processor available right now keeps you gaming at the highest speeds, as well as switching from your apps smoothly, with a 5,000 milliamp battery. So you're never going to have to worry about that battery life. Again, the 200 megapixel camera is going to give you the cleanest and clearest content you want to be getting when you're out and about. You're gaming, bring out the camera, take a shot. You want a video stabilization is going to give you sick results every time. Check out the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. They're all playing on it in Texas right now, and you're going to see how good they do. So, gentlemen, I mean, I'm selling myself on this already. I'm going to have to go out after the show.
Exactly. No, I'm here for it. And look, all of them are playing together in person. I love the fact that we get a chance to see them on camera, of course. But we also have Chief Pat that's going to be doing some interviews as well between games, which you had mentioned, Riv. And I'm excited to hear from Chief and all the players. I mean, we've got to shout out some of the other talent we haven't talked about. I've got to talk about my boy Huskers. Look, I've casted over Huskers in a modicum of different titles. This guy is next level when it comes to Battle Royales. And I think he's won almost $500,000 in Battle Royales combined across a modicum of different titles. But it'll be interesting to see him on PUBG Mobile. He's not necessarily a mobile forward creator. However, he's joined, Dave, by Winsanity, who's like the goat of the mobile creators. So I think you'll have a nice IGL with Win.
Exactly. Huskers, fortunate for them, have the GOAT of PUBG Mobile, Winsanity. So Winsanity's going to be carrying him tonight. Just putting that out there, Goats, right? Just putting that out there. So looking forward to Winsanity. But when we saw the in-venue cam, one thing I want to point out that was extremely important, the pillows, the lap pillows. It's all about the lap pillows. You got to have the lap pillows because they create the perfect angle from the eyes, from the head, for the neck. On the couch, it's all about being comfortable with your device here tonight. So I saw a couple teams with the lap pillows. Meanwhile, other teams weren't rocking the lap pillows. So that had me a little concerned.
So lap pillows and no lap pillows.
You guys are laughing,
but this is a big one. That's a big one.
Okay.
Look, Dave, I'm excited to finish the game one. We're going to get through Nusa, and then we're going to hop into our in-cam review. We're going to hear from Chief Pat, and we're going to hear which teams are at the bottom of the leaderboard. We won't even have to guess, Dave. It's going to be the ones that don't have those lap pillows. It's really simple.
You'll see in the background.
Math. No lap pillow, you lose. That's the way it works around these parts.
It's unfortunate because you actually just revealed one of the top-notch strategies that people should be using right now. And tell me, if you were there and you were actually taking down your opponent, would you look over and point at your pillow? You'd just be like,
I got the pillow. That's all that's
exactly.
Needed. I got
right.
The pillow.
Why not? It's silent trash talk.
Chilling.
Silence is chaos.
I will say, I definitely think there's going to be a lot of trash talk. A lot of these creators know each other really well, to be fair, right? A lot of these creators have been creating PUBG Mobile content for like 4 or 5 years, right? We just recently, the 5th anniversary was yesterday, and I know we've got that 5th anniversary event coming up later this month. So there's a lot that goes into this, right? These creators have been creating content together against each other in events for years upon years upon years. So it's a really cool opportunity, of course, provided by Samsung to bring them all together in one place and have a blast talking a lot of trash, I'm sure.
And to speak to that, if go follow Samsung, follow PUBG on all their social, but follow the creators as well. The teams on there pretty findable by their names. Huskers, Lily, Pichu, Jacob. You could usually find them by those on there, whether they have their YouTubes or whatnot. Like you guys said, actually pretty huge YouTubes for quite a few of these, but it's really cool. Go follow the streamers, follow and find some favorite fraggers that you love in PUBG Mobile, and then you can follow as a content creator. Let's look again at what the pricing will be, what they're playing for, what a pillow under your arms could actually get you. First place is $10,000 and the 4 Galaxy S23 Ultra phones. We just talked a little bit about those, and we will very much more at a later date in probably like 5 minutes. Then second place is $5,000 and the 4X Galaxy Tab S Plus 8s. Third and fourth, you're not going home empty-handed. That's some good cash for you as well. And the 4X Galaxy Buds 2 Pro. So you get 4 of those as well for the squad, for getting in there, and for doing almost your best. But somebody was better. Somebody got first. Somebody got the crispy chicken dinner. But you're all going to be going home with the Snapdragon Elite Gaming Chair. All 32 finalists that are participating today are going to be taking these home. We are going to go ahead and give them to them on site, so they'll find a way to get it on the plane. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Here's your chairs.
Here's your chairs. Great job, everybody. But awesome stuff that they get to play for. Again, playing already on those Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultras, so they know exactly what they might be getting themselves into and feeling how good PUBG Mobile plays on that. I wouldn't know, but I do have a Samsung to play it on. Let's check out the maps we are going to today. Once again, there are 5, but not 5 different maps. It's the 3 spread out, but will be different each time here. Noosa is going to be the first one. Gentlemen, take it away.
Oh, Dave, it is time. Map 1 is here. We're headed straight into Noosa. Thanks, everybody at home, for staying patient. We're making sure everybody at the venue was ready to rock and roll. And, oh, talk about ready to rock and roll. Immediately, Dave, we see Rolex go down, and we are in a fight.
Yeah, hot drop right off the rip here in Science Center. Not just one team. I'm counting at least 4 teams right now as we're going to be tuning in with Envy. That's PB squad. Looks like Powerbang is still going to be up with Rolex. They're the only 2 ones alive right now. But remember, Noosa has the revive mechanic, so they are going to be able to come back. So hot dropping early on, it's really not as risky as, say, it's on Erangel, because you get that second chance mechanic.
Yeah, no, it's a great call out. I think it's the first 3 minutes you have that second chance mechanic come in with the revive. But, it's funny. Everybody in chat was asking for the action, like wins game 1, wins game 1. Don't worry, it's here, and we are moving quick. And I think you said it perfectly, Dave. I was thinking about Noosa, thinking about the revive mechanic, and I was like, we're definitely going to see some hot drops immediately, trying to kind of share that first blood, but also tell some of the other teams, hey, I'm here to play, and I'm here to grab some points, certainly, because this will be the easiest map to grab probably a larger amount of points, just given the amount of encounters that you can get into.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you definitely have to at least risk it for these early game points, because 1 elim is 2 points, and if you die, hey, you get to come back, as long as it is before that 3-minute mark. So the risk really isn't there really for Noosa. So we'll see what ends up happening. There's a couple other areas on the map being heavily contested, but I think the teams, they're realizing, okay, we're in it for the long game. We got 5 games tonight. And remember, a chicken dinner is 15 points, but we'll get back to that because T-Mags, yeah, we're pushing.
T-Mags is immediately in on blue, and Waffles on the other side trying to hold the long angle. Dave, Science Center is hotly contested between these 2 squads, and there's traded blows both sides. Waffles doing a great job holding the long lane, even with the SMG. Jacob's there in stride as well. And when I say in stride, he's limping along. This guy's on 2 HP. Needs to quickly find some meds to try to take on Waffles and co. But a tough start here in Science Center. Certainly a great POI to drop too, just given the fact that it's center of map, right? You can rotate out pretty quickly, recognize where the circles are, and move to different locations on this map. And it has decent little high ground to work with for some long sight lines. But Waffle's still up, 2 opposing, make it 3 opposing nearby. Of course, Jacob very, very low without any heals to his name.
Yeah, looks like Jacob has a smoke, and that's about it. We did see Jacob toss out the grenade. Didn't get a knock off of that. Looking for some meds right now. Only a level 1 vest, so honestly, the odds are stacked against Jacob, but it is Jacob, and Jacob does know how to hit them shots. But going back to Waffles Gaming, I'm looking for her support, though. Like, where are the teammates? Where are they at? I assume they got taken out, and they're parachuting back here, but Waffles is by themselves right now.
Yeah, Waffles having to play a bit of some solo gameplay, certainly capable enough to do that. But you got to remember, there's a lot of players on this map, 32 to be exact, and A lot of these players are out for blood. I mean, these are qualifier players trying to get involved quickly and show their skills. Some of these qualifying teams were dominating in the qualifiers. The top 2 teams from each day of qualifiers have made it here to compete with these content creators. So they're going to try to kind of prove their name, Dave. And we get a chance to take a look at the right-hand side of our screens where we've got our 8 teams, our active scoreboard. It looks like Team Rook has 3 eliminations already. As a reminder, eliminations 2 points.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. And I guess just thinking bigger picture strategy-wise, like, say Waffles, her team dropped here and they get taken out. When you're coming back down, just go somewhere else so you know it's safe, so you can at least get that loot. So you can really fight it out to the very end. And I do believe that's what they did, as we see them, a duo down range. Looks like they're going to be in that looting phase here, as Waffles just looking for another point to put on the board here before scooting on along. But as we promised, over here at the Bay, more action erupting.
And I believe this is going to be... We've got 2 different squads down here at the very least.
Yeah, E8's one of them.
Yeah, E8's pushing the equation, but unfortunately gets taken out from distance immediately on the push. You can see Noise on the right-hand side. He's got an angle. Couple
Huskers
up
down.
ahead. Oh, yeah. Huskers is down, but with win. And that's kind of what we expected, right? When we were talking about potentially some splits and covering each other's crosses. It's going to be win probably on IGL and kind of holding hands with Huskers to work together while the 2 qualifier players working together as well. But these nades coming in from Noise. Woo! Through the window, Dave. Come on now.
Through the window. That one's going to hurt right there. And when Sandy just kind of watching this erupt over here, looking to pin down the enemy, that opponent that is prone in that building, just tossing grenade after grenade, trying to clean this up. Looks like when Sandy did prioritize getting Huskers up, though. So Huskers back in it.
Yeah, Win and Huskers working together, kind of letting their qualifier teammates go down, biding their time. On the other side, Noise is part of Team Chaos with Metalcore and Godsley, and they were able to trade out a couple of eliminations across the board. So you can see Rook, TRG, Over, and INS all at 6 points apiece, with Team Chaos, who we were just talking about, also at 6, but only 1 player left alive. And I have a feeling, I believe this revive mechanic is coming to a close, if not already closed at this point.
Yeah, it's definitely coming there, as we are going to be tuning in with Bella Fox and crew over here. She's rocking that shotgun I was talking about. Pretty OP. Looks like Killjoy does have that UMP, so Riv will be happy watching this one. But they are going to be in the blue, right? And it looks like they are going to be gate kept, sort of, by T-Mags, who is going to be pulling back towards their squad mates. But look at the duo on the cliffs. Yeah, if I'm Bella Fox, I'm playing this one slow, and I'm just trying to survive right now.
Yeah, hanging out in the blue can work in a lot of maps. So when the zone's moving fairly quickly and there's a lot of teams still alive holding the angles and the edges, this is going to be a tough one. A ton of heals, maybe you can make it out, but T-Mag's in trouble, immediately goes down. You can see Rolex on the other side, back into the action, trying to take down INS. Grenades both ways, neither connect, but a smoke will cover. Rolex holding a bit of the high ground, and Ultra's going to take their time here. Rolex having to back off, but can still play the edge of this zone. Dave, he's got the high ground, but could be out in numbers, as Rolex is out by himself currently on top of this hill.
Yeah.
Plus somebody's got the cover. Might see MV swing up from the other side.
Little 3-1 split right here. Rolex is getting ultra aggressive. Looks like Rolex is going to be spotting out one, but look at this in the back line. PB, no! PB down! Over here is Rolex looking to rack up some points in the front lines here. There's just a lot going on, a lot of chaos. I mean, this map is the smallest map here, Goad, so it is to be expected.
Yeah, folks at home, if you're kind of reeling from the instant action, welcome to Noosa. I am here for this gameplay. Non-stop action across the board, and it feels like we just got started, but we're essentially into the mid-game at this point as we're about to get into the third circle. You'll start seeing which teams prioritize zone prio. You see Riz is prioritizing window and height prio over Rolex. Rolex, luckily and skillfully, able to stay alive, but should have a hard time kind of completing this fight if Riz decides to push. Especially given the fact that they've got 2 there, but Envy trying to help, immediately getting melted by Riz through the window. Rolex wins a lot of 1v4s, but when you're playing against some sweaty players, 1v2s even can be very difficult when they've got the advantage.
Yeah, very difficult push right there in the wide open. No smokes to be used right there. They were just trying to close that gap, get within that compound, but immediately put to a stop before that can even happen over here. So this is going to be Dabs and Coffee Squad, the Rizzle Grizzles out here. they are looking pretty solid. 5 elims so far. And they still have the whole team up, as they are going to be rocking an interesting split because they got Coffee deep within the zone, just kind of chilling, going for those placement points. Meanwhile, the other three are being active on the edge, just zone camping everybody. Right here, we can see Bella Fox, one of the players, being zone camped by Dab's squad.
Yeah, Bella is going to be in her bag literally right now with all of the heals that she has, trying to stay alive and farm some of those placement points. And again, it is 15 points for first place, but every elimination is 2 points. So certainly rewarding a faster play style, but if you can grab both, it'll set you up well for the future. You'd love to have a nice buffer inside the top 3 or so at the end of map 1. Chaos in a bit of trouble looking for Waffles, having to play this tent and able to do well with that. Finds an elimination, or at the very least a knock on Waffles, and sees Rook in the distance. Nice little head peek for Rook, but this is going to go back and forth for a while, and I think Noise is going to play it slow.
10 OP. The one thing that both these teams have going against them is it is not in the next circle, so once when the blue starts to push, it's going to hurt just a little bit, but I do believe Pickles looking to clean this one up, almost paying their life, the price of their life right there, body peeking with that grenade, and Noise is just 1v3ing right now, 1v4ing at that.
Yeah, it is worth mentioning. We've got 3 teams fully eliminated and wiped out of this lobby, so down to 5 different squads. But Noise thought maybe Rook had moved on, and that was certainly not the case. Gets the better of Noise. Rook's going to start making their way into the next circle. This blue zone's starting to tick away at a sizable chunk every second. Rook might barely get these heals off to go back up near full, and should be able to make it into the next zone. But still, you're right, Dave. You called out the blue zone and how deadly it can be. A lot of teams going to be holding the blue for some free elims.
Yeah, Papa Blue right now. We got 2 teams with 4 up, and that's going to be Dab's squad up there in the south on the high ground. But the thing is that Dabs and Coffee, they need to watch out because they do have 2 sneaky snakes rolling right behind them. That's going to be Hawk's Nest and Farouk. So if they don't have their head on the swivel, kind of looking behind them, they might be backstabbed, and that's going to open it up for Pickles and Waffles Gaming here.
Yeah, I got to give some credit to Waffles Gaming. Team Rook on your screen right here at the bottom. Obviously don't have high ground position, but all 4 players alive and 16 points. That's 8 eliminations on the side of Team Rook. So this is kind of my team to watch right now. They've been playing aggressive all the way through, and yet still are focusing on that player prio. They're making sure they have all 4 players alive and working together. Hawk's Nest wasn't quite in a tree for a nest, but does get scoped out pretty quickly. There's a Tron also finding Waffle, so an encounter coming up from down below. It's going to be a tough rotation, but not one you have to take immediately, yet you've lost at least 2. Yeah. Now it's a 1v1 in terms of teams, but ultimately TRG is going to get the better of Waffle Squad, I can only imagine. Yeah, they got the high ground. They get all the angles. The duo from Rook are going to be right beneath the ledge here. Here comes the jump down from Coffee. The 360 flick with the M4. There's one. Can we get the other? Coffee. Come on now.
Taking game number 1. Winner, winner, chicken dinner on Noosa, baby.
Coffee, and I mean, talk about a play. Had the health advantage, but it was a 2v1. Coffee just surprised their opponents, whether they didn't hear the audio as they were trying to heal each other up or what have you. Coffee goes down, hits the 360, and says, "Wake up, folks. I'm on my 6th cup. Get ready to rock and roll." Congratulations to the Risley Grizzlies. They played fantastic all the way through. And, of course, a ton of eliminations plus those 15 points. They're going to be the team to beat thus far.
Oh, it's probably over. They're just trolling as they drop. What? Wait a minute. What's going on? Absolutely awesome stuff to see coming into the end of there. We knew it would get a little spicy. Hot drop right in the science lab immediately. And I thought Rook, for the most part, was going to be taking that one, guys.
No, I totally agree. Rook was looking strong all the way through, not only because they played kind of center of map, found early eliminations, then set up their rotation well. I think the only mistake was that they went for the low ground there. But you got to remember, right, if the zone pulls back towards them, they would have been totally fine. Ultimately, the zone pulling up the high ground is what hurt them in the final fight. But the funny part is that we didn't even really wait on that. Coffee full sent over the cliff after they grabbed the knock, and they had 4 players alive. Might as well go for it, right, Dave? I mean, come on.
The confidence right there, the confidence. And I didn't catch it. We saw the camera. We saw the high fives. The momentum right now from that squad has to be at an all-time high, right, as we prepare for these next games. But I didn't catch were they rocking the lap pillow? Did they have the lap pillow?
Oh, no.
You know, that's the deciding factor here.
That's true. When you're just so amazed by the play you didn't expect to see, you forget everything else that you were trying to gather during the game. Looking at that too, the qualifying for the Grizzlies was what? They were a day one qualifying team, but they also weren't a structured duo. Somebody had to step in. So this is also just two players coming together and saying, yeah, we can just synergize. And now with a full team, they say, let's get game one.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I was looking at that as well, and I believe they did get Rizatron did get first overall in day one with 122 points, 31 elims. But yeah, their duo wasn't able to make it out to the event, so it ended up getting one of the third place teams from that qualifiers players. So they're working together, which is really cool. And of course, I'd be curious to know who the IGL is on that squad. Maybe it is Coffee, and or maybe it's Dab. Who knows? Maybe the qualifier teams are kind of taking it over. But I mean, Riv, you get a chance to see this from the back end. We're getting a chance to see some of these replays. Non-stop action for sure in Noosa.
It was crazy. I mean, the screen flipped, right? And we were already in there. You guys were loving it right off the bat. It got me going. But yeah, seeing how everybody played right there in the science lab to start things off and then understand like, okay, Rook owns the science lab. How are we gonna work this? And it just really seemed like I thought, what was it? X's team, Execute was going to be Bellafox and Killjoy. We're all going to be coming up off that bank and absolutely taking it down. Science Center, by the way, not Science Lab. But really changes in a second how the game can flow, who's going to be winning. And you're like, wait, this team that dominated the whole time just got flopped over, and the points just skyrocket for TRG at the end.
Yeah, it's a great call out, and get a chance to see some of the players in action. Saw Win, Huskers, and otherwise. And here's some of those plays. This is kind of the final movement, Dave. I just want to rewatch this. The Hail Mary bail off the top, and then the 1v2, the dip and dive and duck and dodge. It doesn't matter. Coffee's connecting.
Yeah, Coffee putting on a show here tonight. Here's the game one rankings.
Let's see. It's not let them cook with, it's let them brew. Let Coffee brew.
There you go. There you go.
Grizzlies in first here, 39 points. Let them brew. Rook at 28. So good elims across the board. Points here, you can actually see Team Chaos down there in fifth, but still able to get some through a bit of that. But really anybody's game, as long as Grizzlies does not do this every time. You're good to go.
No, that's a great call. And again, I called it as kind of the litmus test. This will be the fun part, is to see what we have next, right? Because we're going to Erangel, and when you start thinking about that map and how large it is, it's not going to be the same caliber of action. You're not going to probably be able to find the same amount of eliminations unless you just fly around the map in vehicles and try to just, roll up on every single team you can and hopefully win your gunfights, right? Like, Dave, I mean, when we start talking about the different strategies that could come out in Erangel, it's going to look like a totally different game.
Yeah, definitely. I could predict the teams at the very bottom to maybe play this one a lot slower, a lot more chill, and just play the zones, look for those placement points, because the first place, 15 points, that's a lot of points for that winner chicken dinner. So say your team comms weren't on point in game one, say your team fights just weren't there yet, I think a little more time to kind of vibe out with the team on Erangel could definitely help them out moving forward.
And we're just waiting. We got Chief Pat coming in with an interview quite soon. Looking at the maps too, Coach, I think we were talking about before, and if it applied to all maps, especially for Erangel, if teams do want to play slow, like Mustache Dave said, there's the 2x for weapon drops and whatnot, and allowing you to actually still find gear if you want to play a little bit safer in the beginning.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we have multiplied out the amount of weapons you could find on the map by 2x. The zone's moving slightly faster, like 1.1. But overall, this will be a fun kind of comparison of trying to figure out how are we going to play. I mean, shouting out Bellafox in particular, right? Bella was kind of playing this more patient, calculated game, hanging out in the blue for a while, using a ton of meds in order to stay alive and farm some of those placement points. Dave, you said it right. 15 points when there's only 32 players on the map is a ton, albeit, of course, every elimination is 2 points. It's still a lot of points that can swing this leaderboard dramatically.
Totally agree. And I'm looking at the bottom team. I think, Riv, you might have put the caster curse, man. Jacob and T-Mags dead last.
I saw the first fight, and he had a UMP. I was like, oh, no.
He did it for you. He did it for you. He's like, Riv, you're picking us. I got you. We're doing UMPs this game. We saw what happened, but I'm bringing this up because we are kind of talking strategy, and maybe these bottom teams will, go for those placement points. We'll get back to that here soon because we got a lot more action coming up.
And we do. We're going to throw the Chief Pat right now. With that interview, let's get the nitty gritty on that chicken dinner winner.
honestly, I think the big highlight is the very end, the 4v4 versus Rook. Everyone was waiting to see what would happen. I nearly beat, in a moment that was faster than my Snapdragon processor. All of a sudden, it was over. I think I screwed up right there, except for the 1v2. Well, I was more of a... Well, I know we're going to get ready to go to game 2. Last thing, I need a promise from you. I need a favor. Do you mind, taking out Oxford Sea Box or outside? How do I do that? Killjoy. I'm plugged for you. Woo! Well, you heard from him, Killjoy. I would be very scared. The Grizzlies are coming for you. Why don't we go and hear back to Blake in the cast as we get ready for game number 2? Let's go.
Chief Pat, thank you so much. If I was Killjoy, I'd basically be playing like this. Looking above me the whole time. It's gonna be intense. I love it. I love what he said there. Always kind of leading. I took a step back on this one and let everybody do their thing, but I did jump off a cliff. So there's that.
Yeah, the best quote from that interview was, and I quote, "Not here to just take part. We are here to dominate."
Yeah.
That's the mentality you need when you're going up against amazing content creators, some qualifiers that got a little blood in their mouth. Like, they're ready to rock and roll. You come out swinging like that, people are going to think twice about challenting your spot. And I think that's going to be really important, especially going into this next map.
It's so good. We got the best teams out here. I'm going to be doing more interviews later. He's already prepped. Exactly. That's the mentality you need to have. So we go to Erangel next. It's going to be a little slower. We're going to see what teams have for each other. They're getting prepared. They all know they have to get in the face of Coffee and the rest of the Grizzlies. Who do you think could really be the one to take game 2 here, gentlemen? Give me a quick hit from both.
Quick hit. I gotta give Powerbang squad another shot. I think.
Yeah, we didn't see too much of them.
Well, the thing is with Rolex and Powerbang, they just were unlucky. They had an unlucky drop spot. They didn't know that the squad they were gonna be going against, which was Rook, was gonna come out swinging that hot. I mean, there was a couple teams that were kind of surprised, it seemed, with how fast the action took place. And so that's the team I'm looking at. Is run it back, boys. You guys got it.
There he is, the man himself. I'm looking at Execute. We heard Coffee on the break kind of calling out Killjoy, and Killjoy is on Execute with Bella Fox and Lily Pichu. So, you can't let someone call you out like that and not do anything. That's my point. You're like, okay, Coffee, we saw you dipping. First of all, that's T. Okay, Coffee, just letting you know. But I think when someone's threatening you like that, you got to clap back. So I'm looking at Bella Fox and crew here this game.
All right. Well, this game is going to be happening on that Samsung Galaxy S32 Ultra. Again, it is the next big step in mobile technology. You got to check it out. Fastest Snapdragon processor available. 200 megapixel camera that does not have you worrying about lighting in the environment or anything, because the night mode you can use, powered by nightography, just takes all that worry away. 500 milliamp battery also takes your worry away from gaming all day, smoothing or going quickly between your apps and then wanting to take a picture. Everything with the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra is in your hands, ready for you to use, create content, crystal clear pictures, the video stabilization, and gaming, and PUBG Mobile, what's happening right here today on the Samsung Galaxy Battles. I got Goj and Mustache Dave here with me casting today. I appreciate them for being here because their backpack is comfy and I can sit in it as they cast these insane games for you that are going on. We're going to Erangel next. Nusa was pretty crazy. We had a lot of love for Grizzlies. They did quite well on that first one, taking first place, but we saw how quickly it changed towards the end. They weren't really on the board too much, but their points skyrocketed, and that can also happen here in Erangel if you're finding the teams in the right positionings in that transition from circle to circle.
Yep, no, absolutely worth mentioning. And I think something else to talk about, again, as a reminder, there are placement points. It's 2 points per elimination, but
That's
15 points for first place. You got 12 for second, 10 for third, 8 for fourth, and so on. So the placement points tally up as you go through this map. There's only 8 teams with 32 players, Dave, but placement points are important, but you have to find eliminations if you really want to start climbing this leaderboard, especially when you see a monster score from the Grizzlies at the very beginning. They're going to be tough to catch with how fast Nusa is.
Hey, go. I'm looking forward to this, Coach. I mean, look at the venue. We got the creators, the players that qualified. Nusa, that game was so quick, very intense. Now we're gonna slow it down a little bit on Erangel. But Coach, I just gotta say, man, I'm having a good time here tonight. The players having a good time. This is a pretty solid event so far.
No, I couldn't agree more, Dave. It has been nonstop action thus far, but I can only imagine the creators are having a blast. You can see Huskers on your screen, of course, right now, sitting next to Winsanity. Huskers, a good friend of mine, Win as well. Both incredible content creators and competitors. Across the board, you're seeing all types of players. And what's fun, too, is that you're not going to recognize all of these faces because some of the players today, we've mentioned it a couple times now, are those qualifier players. They got flown out to compete, which is so incredibly cool and something that you don't see often with events like this, is not only these amazing, massive, 500 subscriber content creators, but also qualifier players, people like you and me, or maybe even less, right? Like you and I get the chance to hang out in the booth. These are people like everybody at home that just get to watch, and all of a sudden now they're competing on the main stage for a ton of cash. Oh, Dave, we are ready.
Game two, baby.
Let's get it, baby.
Game 2, and look, I'm just pointing out Winsanity, the GOAT. Pillow, baby. Lap pillow. Confirmed. Winsanity showing up here. So 32 players. Erangel, I think it's going to be a little slower. We might have a couple of these aggressive squads try to maybe hot drop, get involved early on. Possibly. But in reality, I think it's going to be a lot slower here, Coach. So we're going to have a decent amount of time to kind of talk it out, kind of look at the macro here and see what the mindsets might be of some of these players.
Look, I majored in economics. Macroeconomics is where I thrive. So let's talk about the macro. Let's see where the teams are going to drop. You're going to see the Grizzlies, at least a couple of them heading up north. I mean, general normal hotspots. Of course, you've got Pachinki or otherwise, but I don't know if we're going to see anything normal in Erangel this time around, Dave. You know what I mean? Like, you do see actually what looks to be a split drop actually from the Grizzlies.
Yeah, I mean, we saw them game number 1, very comfortable, kind of playing on their own, and they did try to group up towards that late game, as we saw when they had that high ground advantage, of course, and they just cleaned it up so quickly. So I think they're feeling confident. They also have a nice point buffer between them and the other squads as well. So say they do lose one early on or two, it's not going to hurt them too much, as we did get a nice little glimpse of the zone. They're going to be in it. They're going to be in it. Meanwhile, a ton of teams here, Goj. They went to Milta and Farm? ? Like, what is going on down there? I need to see it because I'm counting at least 4 different teams down here, minimum.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Of course, we're going to get a chance to take a look at Killjoy, who got shouted out from the Grizzlies, Coffee in particular. But Milta's popping for a map this large to have that many. Yo, we only have 8 teams here, right, Dave. I think there was 4 in Milta. I mean, it's going to be intense down there. So I'm sure we'll swing over to some of that action in just a moment. Getting a chance to see a comfy Lily because, well, Lily Pichu, one of the most amazing content creators out there, an incredible variety content creator, has played and done pretty much everything under the sun with accolades or otherwise here, staying comfy, not only with the lap pillow, but also on the couch, right, in the venue, which is exciting.
Yeah, and then the hat, the cherry on top. Nice looking hat right there, the PUBG mobile hat. Hey, send us a hat. Where's our hats? But we'll talk about that later. I got to send an email later. But yeah, you made a great point. 8 teams? Half of them are going to be down there in the southeast near Milta Farm. And I just want to point out, Milta Nova not in the zone. Ooh, okay, here's that action we're looking at. This is going to be Jacob's squad. Jacob and T-Mags, they're dead last on the overall leaderboards. They're looking to change that here right now.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Well, it's great shots from down below and across the angle. Team, nice little kind of pinch here, almost like a net that they've thrown around this building. Jacob's going to push the equation with teammate in tow. Quick double elimination. Rook in trouble. This is a massive moment here, Dave, because there's no revive capabilities here in Erangel. So when you're down 2 players, you better start running. And I think Jacob's going to hunt you down. They need these points desperately. And of course, I believe Rook's in 2nd place overall.
Yeah, Waffles Gaming, I remember she got like 4 elims in game number 1, and I really believe that revive mechanic definitely saved them because they did that hot drop. They got some elims, but they also lost some players along the way, and they were able to reset because of the mechanics on Nusa. That's not here this time around. Now they're down to just a duo, so this is going to hurt them on the overall leaderboards. But T-Mags and Jacob, this is exactly what they needed. T-Mags, they can see the opponents out there in the distance running away. I have to assume they're gonna hunt them down here, Goj. Why not? You know?
Yeah, look, INS, it stands for Insane Team, so I can only imagine they're gonna try to play up to that name at this point. They need to play insane because I think Jacob is probably has his ego a little bit hurt. I saw a lot of people shouting out the Boat Gang and all of the different chats, all of our live stream locations, and so I know a lot of people cheering him on. He's obviously known for some high octane gameplay, and I think grabbing those early eliminations, it feels good, but your job's not done yet. I think you hunt this team down, get him out of the lobby.
T-Mags right here. Just keeping tabs, keeping tabs. The intel is very important, especially on Erangel. You don't want to get caught off guard. Meanwhile, Rook with the duo. And I think Erangel being such a large map and with placement points being what they are, 15 points for Chicken, 12 for a second place, 10 for a third, they're not out of it. As long as they avoid the team fight right ahead of them, try to go underneath the radar, they could definitely snake it out here and still pull something out the hat here on game number 2 to maintain their points on the overall leaderboard.
No, I totally agree. I think something else that's worth remembering is that we're going to be back at Noosa in a little while. So it's not all she wrote, as they say, because there's an opportunity to farm a ton of eliminations in Noosa, just given the fact that there's a ton of active encounters. So any buffer or any kind of boon you can give yourself through Erangel, even if that is just that chicken dinner, that could certainly be helpful. But Waffles has wisely kind of avoided that encounter, not trying to take on the 2v4s against some of PUBG Mobile's finest. Instead, is going to kind of wrap out and rotate around. I'd be curious to see where the rest of the teams that dropped here, Dave, where they went. Maybe they saw Jacob's squad start sprinting around this area and said, well, let's spread out a little bit. Let's make sure we have at least some loot before we get involved, because don't want to go down in the first 2 minutes of our second map today.
Exactly, and they have a lot of room between them and Milta. So right now, the game plan, probably look for a vehicle and just get as far away from T-Mags and crew. Just drive into the sunset. With the amount of players on this map, there's going to be so much just open terrain, so many routes that they could potentially take into zone number 1, and just chill. Just chill, big chill here. And we're going to get a nice little glimpse of circle number 1. One thing I did want to bring up, Metacore and squad, little interesting fact. Metacore told me that they're communicating with pings and in-game voice comms that are built into the game, because there's a language barrier between them and the teammates that got flown out. So that was pretty interesting.
Wow. Yeah, that's super interesting. Certainly, not even necessarily handicap, something that they're all used to, right? You play pubs all the time, and that's something that you probably often do. But something to keep in mind, we watched that team start popping off. That's even more impressive, just given that language barrier. Really cool story there, Dave. I'm glad we were able to share that. As we got a chance to take a look at the map, most of the teams have spread back out a little bit. Omega, the only team that elected to go down south. Military base, obviously a fantastic drop spot for some loot, but of course, there's a lot of chokeholds coming out of that area, especially when it's not inside the zone. But this is some of that vehicle gameplay we expected to see. Finally, Jacob's squad beginning to wrap. I was going to say Waffle's team needed to find a vehicle quick to rotate, but we're taking a look around the map. Looks like, for the most part, this will probably be the looting stage. We had a little bit of some early encounters, but in all reality, it's now mid-game. And something I talk about all the time, too, for those at home, is you've watched PUBG Mobile competitions all the time. You've probably watched a lot of Battle Royales. And something that you always see is kind of the differences between the early, mid, and late game, right? Oftentimes, the early game, it's filled with looting, but you're trying to grab an elimination or two early just to have some points on the board. Right now, only the Insane team has done that. The middle game is setting up for the end game. So you're looting, you're rotating to the next circle, you're checking the edges of those circles, trying to hold down some of the other teams that are rotating in. But that end game is where the aggressive teams can really shine if they've had a good mid game. So something you have to do is set yourself up well. You want to take those high percentage fights throughout the entirety of the map. And you can see Godsley on your screen with Metalcore, the team that we were just talking about. On your screen again, looking around, checking all their corners, making sure that there's nobody else around this POI. They're able to loot up nicely. Taking a look at some of the materials here. You've got helmet, of course, some armor, backpack, few meds. You'd certainly like a lot more. Something we've seen a lot from events in the past is some of those heal off, Dave, in the blue zone too. I think that's something that we'll keep an eye out for, is holding a ton of those heals for the end to try to hold out for some of those placement points when the encounters start to get a little bit spicy.
Action-packed. I felt like Nusa was like a 3-minute game. I know it was a little longer than that, but I can only imagine like the blood pumping during Nusa, which we'll play again later on. As we're looking at PB. PB on the 3-seater right here. Hey, he's like, yeah. So there's PB, big chilling, and you can tell they are playing the long game here, Goj.
Yeah, you have to. And again, I was talking about just a second ago, is kind of that mid-game setup. If you want your in-game to be successful, you've got to spend the time in the mid-game to get all the loot that you need, meds, weapons, armor, etc. But also get to the god spots inside the circle. Obviously, you can try to predict where the circle is going as you take a look at that map, but ultimately it's going to come down to who's got the high ground positions, the better cover, things like that, because that's where we're going to see probably 90% of the fights during this map.
And let us know in chat too. I got the chat open. Like, who are we rooting for? Nusa, that map was so quick. I couldn't even ask for a prediction because that game started and it ended with Coffee with a 360. But now we got a little more time to breathe it out. What teams are we looking for? We got Coffee and Dabs. We heard Coffee looking for that repeat interview here with Chief Pat. We'll see if that happens. I know we got Power Bang, we got Bella Fox, Metalcore, so many amazing creators just participating here tonight with, like you said, the 2 players that qualified. So a lot of interesting storylines to follow here. Huskers. What do you think about Huskers here so far tonight?
I haven't seen a ton of the gameplay yet. I know, comparatively to some of the other content creators, not as comfortable on mobile, has played some mobile and looking decently, competent for the most part, and especially with that IGL, should be fine. Team's doing fine. The E8 squad did well during the qualifiers to make it here. They got first overall in day 2. And actually, speaking of doing well, I actually think they did the best overall period between all of the qualifier days. They dropped 138 points with 41 elims during their qualifier stage, which is the most out of any qualifying team. So Huskers and Win in good hands as well, especially if they elect to split, again, this map, could certainly find some success.
Yeah, they're definitely ready to go. But the thing that always kind of pops up to my mind, just kind of going back to like the results that you mentioned from the opens, and now they got flown out here. They're playing at maybe their first LAN. Like the nerves, the mental, just playing at maybe your first LAN, number one, and with these big time creators that you might watch to kind of up your skills in game as well. Like the amount of nerves right now for a couple of these players that qualified. First of all, GG's amazing. Amazing that this is even going down for them, but the nerves, how do they calm those nerves to really get their head in the game here tonight?
I think it'll be something where the nerves start calming when they realize, wait, we might be some of the best players on the map. These qualifier players are very, very strong, and I think they're going to have that kind of ego check and realize, okay, I can compete. I can do this. Taking a look, something worth mentioning, of course, you've got Lily Pichu on your screen currently, but their squad with Bella Fox right on the heels of Coffee, which is funny because that's the team that I believe they originally called out with Killjoy on the other side with Elise. Those are the 4 players for Team Execute. This is the squad that Coffee wanted to shout out. The problem is they were split for a moment there. There was almost a little bit of hair on that. If Elise and Killjoy and co could have maybe spotted that there was only 2, they could have full sent and taken Coffee down and made him eat his words a bit.
Oh, do they spot him out? I mean, this looks like a full send to me. Killjoy on that tower. Definitely going to be seeing that rotate, probably relaying that intel back to the squad. Now, finally going to be taking the shots right here. The question is, do they U-turn? Do they yeet it? Or do they just kind of look for that next position in the zone and maybe gatekeep them? Because Killjoy, Bella Fox, they're not in the circle in Sunken City, so they will have to move here.
Dave, I'm going to be honest. I think you and I spinning 360 and full send on that. I think any rational person would not. I mean, they were in the perfect spot to hammer down on some of these vehicles. Got a couple tags in. Really would have liked to see a knock out of one of these vehicles. It would have been pretty difficult, but with some team fire, definitely possible. That would have helped even up the odds and make sure the Grizzlies don't come out on top again. But let's take a look at the map. Take a look at the circle. You can see fairly south central zone. Ton of vehicles down here south of Pachinki into the farm area. Most teams will be stocked up on 3, if not 4 vehicles apiece as we rotate in. And given the fact that Pachinki's in circle, you'll probably see every single team survive into the late game, just given that there's so many areas for cover, Dave.
Yeah, especially if the zones continue to shift on top of Pochinki. And Coffee and Dabs, they got that nice little tip in the south of Pochinki. What I like to call this is we're getting stinky in Pochinki. You know what I'm saying? We're getting stinky in Pochinki over here. So I think Dab Plays Coffee's crew recognizing, okay, Pochinki might be in play a little longer. They're just going for position. And this is a nice off-center spot right now with a ton of sight lines across those fields, just in case the squad does opt to push across those fields. Nothing but sight lines for Dabs and Coffees to just fire away and try to get a vehicle explosion.
That's a great call out. Something to keep an eye out for is certainly some of these teams that have set up well. It looks like Rolex taking a look down lane and spots out a couple, but is trying to figure out what's the best spot we want to hold down. And we want to probably wait on this next circle and see if it's going to pull a little bit further north or stay at the very kind of coastal south area, because when you start setting up for this in-game, Dave, something that we see all the time is that you don't really necessarily want to all four stack in one building. Ideally, you're holding multiple sight lanes, kind of casting a wide net, almost like this semicircle where you can cover each other's angles, make sure you can cover the flank, have a couple people focusing certain directions that'll help you out overall. If you're all focusing one area, one or two grenades, all of a sudden, you're out of here. So Power Bang squad doing a really good job of that, holding down the POI. And if Hawk's next squad, I think this is over, swings down on this, they're going to be in for a very rude awakening because they're going to get shot from every single angle.
Exactly. And we can see exactly what you're saying. Rolex Powerbang doing just that. And to note, they're within range of each other. That say one of them do get pushed, they're within range to cover fire, provide that support just in case someone gets knocked. They're not far enough to the point where if they get knocked, they're also going to get taken out, because they got those sight lines. They're holding down their back ends, and they're just looking 360 right now. So next circle did go up. PB and crew, they're going to be right there on the edge. We do see a team a little north of them. They might see them, might have a little vision as they're going to be rotating on in. It's going to be Hawk's Nest and crew. They're looking for a center spot, and I believe Winsanity also, same game plan. Look for that middle point. We'll see.
Yeah, Win's got a little bit of high ground here. Not a ton of cover, but the high ground, it's cover of its own. Spots a couple out in the distance and puts down some covering fire and does maybe a bit more than that. Omega's found a slight little crevice to hide behind and heal back up. Almost dropped Omega out of overhauls. And, Noise is pushing the equation. Give me a couple nades. I'll take a couple knocks, maybe just one on the first one. That this is a signal flare to say, hey, maybe we push this. Noise is causing quite a bit of a ruckus and a ton of noise down here. Smoke's going out. It's not going to matter. Noise finds at least one with another knock. Noise is all by the way. This is the 3v1 split, but the one pushes forward. Is that a full team wipe from Noise? Are you joking?
Wow. We saw Noise game number one, holding it down in a 1v4. Didn't work out in their favor, But this time around, Noise said, hey, team, you just watch. Just watch how it's done. Just make sure I'm alive. Make sure I'm safe. And what was even more impressive with Noise's push is that for a brief moment, they were just in the open. When Sandy was looking at them, Dab Plays and Coffee, they were looking at them. So the sidelines were there. Noise had a lot of pressure on them, and they need to have that timing down packed, which they did. And look at that. It looks so beautiful.
It's a fantastic team wipe from Noise. Of course, that's Team Chaos with Metalcore, Godsley, Noise, and Porty. Look, I'm telling you, those qualifier players, they are nasty, and Noise does it all by himself. Win was looking for a couple snipes from distance, but it looks like the opposing team also had a sniper in hand to chow that back, and Win didn't want to show face for too long.
Noise is trying to get signed by an org tonight. Let's just be real. Tonight's the night. I got flowing out here. I'm hanging out with the biggest creators in PUBG Mobile. I'm going to put on a show. Respect to Noise right there. One of the highlights tonight, you got to say.
Oh, absolutely. Well, Overhaul is eliminated as it's shown. 7 teams left. Rook still with 2, of course. But Overhaul did net 9 points. Not too shabby, right? When you start thinking about the placement points, it's going to be 15 for first, 12 for second. 9's not bad, especially when you're the first team to get eliminated and you net yourself 0 placement points. You would have liked to add on to that, but in terms of kind of hemorrhaging some losses there, really not a horrible map for Erangel, especially if you can multiply that on some of the smaller maps. But Powerbank's been knocked. Rolex is going to get a quick revive with the smoke cover. Probably a distance knock. Didn't look like there was a team that was maybe pushing that equation too much.
There are a couple shots out there. A couple of these squads just kind of waiting to see where this next circle takes them. And going back to over, we got Livic coming up next, where we do have those recall towers, so they can opt to play a little more aggressive. Next circle, ops. Disgusting. Disgusting. We got about 3 teams that need to reposition. And when Sanity, they're going to have sightlines right there on the edge. They're going to be able to gatekeep a couple players. So we'll see how that unfolds.
Yeah, it's Team Chaos and I believe E8, which is Win and Huskers as well, of course, inside the zone already. Looks like a bit of contesting going on. You've got Dab. This is going to be Coffee Squad. The Grizzlies getting involved quickly. This is a must-win scenario here for Norris and Co. with Chaos. You're taking down the winners currently if you can win this. They've got the trenches and cover. Coffee a little bit isolated. A couple nades well placed. Perfectly placed, rather. Only needed 1. Coffee goes down. Win gets a little plinko from distance, trying to steal a couple of these out from their noses. But Dave, what a way to continue the steamroll here with Noise and Co. Team Chaos is not relenting.
Yeah, Chaos are doing great. They have a beautiful position in this circle in those trenches. The cover is there. Coffee catching that grenade to the dome. Immediately getting flushed right there. And I love the position from Team Winsanity and crew because they got sight lines. But look at this. They need to also defend because Jacob, we're pushing. Jacob, T-Max pushing from behind. So that's going to take off the distraction from that third party we saw a couple moments ago.
Well, E8 has given a little bit of an advantage on their side, knocking 1. Win and Husker is actually looking another way as well. Mateen trying to make sure they don't get pushed from 3 different angles, just trying to isolate at least one fight that they can take care of. Killjoy's finding an elimination in the kill feed. See Waffles' team getting eliminated. That's Team Rook down and out. They got second in the last map. This time, I believe only 2 points overall. Not a lot to write home about, but hopefully they can turn it around to the next one. The bane of their existence was Jacob off the beginning, and now Jacob trying to be a thorn in another team's side.
Oh, they're pushing.
Prepared. Yeah, Dave, this is about to get spicy. We'll see what Huskers and Win can do.
Ooh, Jacob taking down Winsanity right there. The one-tap dirt nap.
Huskers just proned out in a pretty good spot and actually has a nice little sight line to work with. But E8 down. Huskers finds great connecting shots, but isn't going to be able to do too much with it. Unfortunately, doesn't grab a knock. And with Win knocked, they just did not have the player advantage to win that. I got to say, Huskers had some great shots overall. Just unfortunate didn't have the players to back him up. Jacob's squad gets the better of yet another team, Dave, and I don't know that they lose a single player in the process.
Nope, they should be able to get that pickup and maybe even loot those crates, get those meds, and restock on the ammunition. The AKM/Bison is what Jacob's rocking this game, and this has to feel good. 6 elims so far. Remember, game number 1, this squad didn't do anything. They're at the bottom of the overall leaderboard, so it has to feel good to kind of get that confidence flowing here, that momentum going once again on the squad as Team Max is going to be on their knees bleeding on out. But Jacob looking for a nice wide little flank right there in the south.
Yeah, you see Dab is still alive and Quatch. This is Grizzlies getting involved, and Noise might be in a bit of trouble in particular. This is Team Chaos. Oh, nice covering fire, though. One goes down. Dab might be all on their lonesome. Keep an eye out. These are really important team fights here for a chance to double their money, if you will, after a fantastic map 1. Gonna try to smoke out Quatch and maybe go for the res. Grizzlies pushing the equation. Shotgun in hand on the other side. Gotta be careful. Riz is backing off. Oh, nice connecting shots, though, with the grenade. He's gonna try to peek over.
Yeah. This is interesting. Riz trying to get a spot for their squad, but Dabs is just pinned down. Doing a rock in a hard place. We'll see what happens. Looks like they're going to be driving out there in the distance, but I don't know. They're kind of getting too separated here, in my opinion, Goes. They're kind of spread out.
Yeah, they're very spread out. I totally agree. I think the Grizzlies are very spread out, and Rizatrons try to kind of carve a path into the circle, which I respect. Not a lot of cover here, and they're all by themselves. So one person peaks at the right time. Rizatron's down, and now you're down in numbers. I don't hate it, but other teams are going to try to make sure that you don't score any more points.
Jacob!
Sorry, buddy. Boat can't save you when you're on land. A splatter, an elimination, a knock. Chills try to come in. Team Envy. Dave is getting crazy, and Jacob is in trouble.
You know it's getting crazy, and we're starting to see some runovers. Rolex in the front lines, running over Jacob. Both players going to be bleeding on out. Chill is trying to push up, trying to provide that support. Needs to watch out for that grenade in. Also, Dabs in the back line, but PB rolling through. Put it down here, Coach.
Okay, I see you, PB and Co. What a push. Well done. Come in, clean up the squad. Down to the 3 final teams. Only Team Chaos with all 3 alive and Dab getting taken off from the distance. We're low on health. Team Envy's got all 4 as well now. Everybody being revived. So it's going to be 4v4v1. Grizzlies, by the way, still alive with just Rizatron. Now, it's funny, Dave. We talked about Rizatron being the one getting picked off. Looks like the rest of his team got picked off. So it's just Rizatron left alive. But this is really good placement points-wise for third.
Beautiful.
And had a decent amount of points. And the question is, could you maybe come in for the third party on the final fight and either win this thing or grab second? Maybe just an elimination or 2. Again, every elimination is 2 points. And they are fighting right now. This is exactly what you want to happen if you're Rizatron.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, third place is 10 points, so that alone is solid, and they might even be able to get second place or third party as they see the action erupting across the way. But look who's still alive, though, Goj. Noise is still alive. That's my fear. That is my fear this game, because we saw Noise with the 1v4 a couple moments ago. Looks like Rolex was picked up. Metacore does spot out an enemy over there. I think PB is also getting a revive on a squad mate. Chills. Yeah, so this is going to be a nice little end zone here for us.
Yeah, Envy's got all 4. The only team that has it. They were able to pick off 1 from Chaos and fully eliminate them. So 4v3v1 now. The fight didn't last as long as maybe we thought. Now Noise, well, getting the better of another. Unfortunately, Grizzlies, their time has come to a close. Still, you got to like that map. We'll talk more about that in a second, though, because it's the final fight. 4v3, and Envy's trying to take some downrange shots, DP in hand. Everybody's going to heal up and prepare for this final circle. Smokes are going to be key in this final circle, as there's not a vehicle in sight to use for cover.
Yeah, smokes are key, and I see Noise trying to go for that off angle. So timing, communication has to be on point. And remember, Metacore, this squad, they're using pings. Just pings because of the language barrier.
That's right. That's a huge point to remember. Comms might be in the favor of the side of Powerbang. I'm not going to tout myself yet. I said Powerbang squad was the team to watch, and they certainly have been, but both teams have found a sizable amount of eliminations, 9 on one side, 8 on the other. It's going to be close. Creeping through the grass. Snakes in the grass. They will certainly be popping up very shortly, though.
Checking off the backpacks. See Rolex rocking that UMP. Shout out to Riv right there.
I respect that call.
Respect it.
Oh, from the side. Noise yet again finding another. Gets answered back, though, from Rolex. So it'll be a trade. Not something you'd like if you're Chaos, though, because you're already down in players, Dave.
Yeah, Noise getting flushed out right there. That's massive. That is a big takeout right there. They might be able to pick up PB. Looks like they have sight lines over there across the way. They see the snakes. They might see the little sneaky snakes out there in the grass here, Goj.
I know. And with the 4v2, if they're able to get Powerbang back up, it's not all she wrote, but it's close to it. Envy could kind of double flank, and certainly Porty and Metalcore could do something insane. They might not be able to get to PB, though. You can see he's kind of out on a little bit of an island in the middle, but is maybe a bit of bait to try to draw some information on where these 2 snakes are. Chills on the left.
Porty's got that backpack, so they're going to be spotted.
Yeah, well, Porty's going to make sure old PB stays down. Better not get back up, my friend.
Oh, Rolex versus Metalcore. This is a big fight. Rolex lean peeking that tree, taking some shots down range, trying to jump up, trying to get additional sight lines on Metalcore. Going to be cooking it. Getting ready to toss it here, Coach.
Look, coffee's out of this. We're no more brewing. We are cooking.
We're cooking.
Nades. And Rolex is trying to cook somebody down range. I don't think he's going to be able to get it far enough. Chills continues to sneak off to the left. There's just enough verticality here that you can kind of get away with snaking. Rolex on a tree, one wrong movement, and he knows it. Goes prone as well. Play zone takes Porty out. And, all of a sudden, bada bing, bada boom. We are out of there. Team Envy takes the win.
Look at PB with the claw socks on. That's the claw socks and the pillow. Strats right there. And I saw someone in the chat saying everyone's snaking, but PB ain't no snake. the only one up. And yeah, we saw PB up there at the end, getting that vision, getting those sight lines, and relaying those comms to the teammates right there. I mean, PB, Rolex, this squad, they started hot in this late game. Remember, they rolled up with the drift runover play on Jacob's crew, and that just kind of snowballed from there.
No, absolutely. I think it's worth mentioning that, of course, I was the one that shouted out this team as the team to beat in this map. I was right. It's probably because I grabbed my own lap pillow before that battle. But no, seriously, very well played. Thank you, Riv. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
We're tallying ourselves here. I just got to give a shout out to that team because obviously their comms were immaculate. PB and co. You can only expect that PB is handing over the reins of the IGL to his teammate Rolex, former pro. It worked out in their favor. A fantastic win. Certainly on Erangel, you're going to love to see those points roll in.
That was a pretty wild match. It definitely seemed like TRG the Grizzlies weren't feeling it with the slow pace to start. They were really doing a lot towards that end game. But looking at Chaos, before we talk about the winners, oh my God, Noise. Like kicking up dust in the middle, full team wipe. It really looked like they were able to start taking advantage of kind of third parties, but more of the entirety of the chaos around them and thrive in that. Then you got Powerbang coming in with a power sliding out of the car, lays them down and right. I saw that too in the chat, Mustache Dave. No snake in the grass. He was a panther driving forward. Absolutely wild stuff. Give me some favorite moments before we hit replays, gentlemen. Mustache Dave, let's start with you.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about it, Noise. I think going back to this team not having the comms, I think Noise made a ping, put a ping, hey, ping, and then just went boom, straight sending it. And the team's like trying to help, trying to roll up right behind them, but Noise already getting that squad wipe. One of the most impressive plays we've seen here so far. But I believe we got some replays, baby. Roll the clips.
Hit it.
Yeah, I'm excited about these replays, Riv, because we'll be able to see that 1v4 from Noise, of course, but we'll be able to see some of the different plays that, PB squad was able to do across the board to set themselves up. But this is where we started, Riv, and this early encounter from Jacob's team was
the Milton drop.
Yeah, I mean, half the teams went here, and two found each other. Quickly, of course, Waffles and co. were able to dip out of that fight, but grabbing those two elims early is everything to make sure Rook doesn't throw enough points on the board, and that's exactly what happened. They only scored 2.
It's huge. Able to really grip some points there to start off. Mustache Dave.
Killjoy.
I want to know what you're thinking. Who is looking like they're almost there and could explode on the third game? Who are we maybe not paying attention enough to?
I mean, I want to say execute. Every single game that we've had so far tonight, they're kind of just getting blocked by the zones, And hopefully, game number 3, Livic, they get a little more luck when it comes to Papa Blue in the zones here, and they kind of play this one out and look for some additional points to keep them afloat on the overall leaderboards. But Rolex right here with the drift. Jacob, I mean, what are the comms right there? I always want to hear these comms. Like, it's insane.
I think it's words we probably can't say on podcast is what it is. But a splatter yields an elimination, yields a team wipe. There's the Noise elimination on Riz to make sure they get third. I got to hand it to the Grizzlies, however you say it. Got third overall. It was a Team Envy win, but still a massive score for Team Coffee. It's worth mentioning they're going to make sure they're still at the top of this leaderboard at the end of the day. Riv, I've been talking through this leaderboard. That's a huge point total just from game 2 from Team Envy.
From game 2, right? That's game 2 ranking. So we'll see the add up soon. But like we said, anything happens in these games, and we figured it'd be a little bit more spread out on this. But I think Envy took way more points than anybody thought was going to happen on this. So they could actually maybe take it slow for the next ones. Well, everybody else might have to be scrounging for these frags, gentlemen.
Yeah, no, exactly right. I mean, Envy with 11 limbs in game 2. Here's the total, though.
Yeah, they're up there.
Look, hey, Dave, talk me through it. Grizzlies did enough to stay on top, but now it's a close ball game. Look at these top 3 scores.
Yeah, they did enough, but they didn't have any elims, unfortunately, for them. So you hate to see it, but look at this. What I love to see is how close the leaderboards are, because now that first place, that $10,000, it's starting to heat up here at the top.
It looks spicy. I wonder how everybody's going to be playing the next games here, seeing who's actually been kind of taking the lead in these games. Obviously, Grizzly. We saw Jacob seemed coming in, the Insane coming in a little bit towards the end there, but it still seems like they're getting shut down. I think I did indeed curse him. We do see UMPs going to the final circle, but I don't think it's it, guys.
Well, I got to shout out Team Chaos with Metalcore, Godsley, Noise, and Porty again.
Yeah.
Dave, you called it out. They were at the bottom of the leaderboard, right? So they made a massive jump to, I believe, third place only by a couple points. Talking about the next round, I'm sure we'll get some interviews shortly. Yeah. I'm looking at E8. I'm looking at E8. I'm looking at Win. I'm looking at Huskers because they're at the bottom of the leaderboard now. Maybe the bottom of the leaderboard is where you want to be to throw down a massive game. Who knows? Riv, take it away.
All right, yeah, we are going to throw it to the interview. We'll see what the players have to say. Chief Pat, what's going on down there?
Thank you very much, guys. Honestly, an honor to be here with PB. If this isn't proof that us mobile gaming OGs still have it, I don't know what it is. PB, way to hold it down, man. How was that done? Thank you, Pat. Good to see you. The dub, it tastes good. That turkey's in there. I'm telling you what, there's no better way to go out than a victory. So, I can props the team on that one. He's happy with waving it up. Yeah, absolutely. PB was telling me at lunch day, by the way, that at Worlds 1 year for PUBG Mobile, literally got off the plane, instantly got eliminated, flew back home to the U.S. This was much different. You got that win. How's it feel to win on land? Well, it's been a bit since the last land that I played. Well, obviously, the last land that I played, I did not play. I cast it. I was a host for it. So this feels good. The adrenaline's up. I was a little cold in the room at first. Like, things were a little bit chilly. After that first game, it was popping. We were feeling good. Nice. Well, that way involves Team NB up to second place. This is absolutely incredible. 3 more matches to ultimately determine our champion. The winner of the $10,000 prize and some lovely S23 Ultras. How are you feeling strategy-wise? What worked for you guys in that game? What can you carry over to future games? Or are you just absolutely going full Leroy Jenkins? We saw you guys in the car do that, by the way, with you and Rolex this time. Yeah, I mean, what's the strategy? So the strategy is we're essentially listening to Rolex. He's got good, crisp, clear comms, and he positions for how he wants us to be. And we just listen, man. So when we're talking to Leroy Jenkins, he went in, he hit Jacob right over the car, the ultimate disrespect. Sorry, Jacob, but it is what it is. And he went down. Teammate backed up Jacob. Rolex is down. And I'm like, I am not letting him go out like that. So I grabbed the vehicle, backed up a teammate, and we just hit it. Rolex is like, no. Oh, that's fine. We got him back in the front. That's what we need to get this thing to the end. All right. Listen, you want to win in PUBG Mobile, follow what he says. If you're trying to get a driver's license, definitely do not do that. What are you thinking for the rest of this tournament as far as who are the teams to beat? Who are you feeling strong so far? Obviously, TRG still in first place with all those knocks, but where are you feeling you guys stack up? I feel like TRG are looking out for like Coffee and Dabs. I think Jacob's team's really strong. I think we can watch that pretty good stuff in the first game, and really it's kind of anyone's game. I got to give a huge shout out to all the players that actually made it here, because eventually you have to fight your way through the brackets, through the gauntlet, basically just to be here. So all of the content creators, teammates, are super stacked, so really it's anybody's match here. We just got to try to go be consistent from our end on Team Envy. I have a whole lot of doubts that we can do just that, so we'll see if we can back it up. Cool, man. Well, last thing, I got to ask, you're in the state of Texas, how's it been doing the books and BBQ? You enjoying, everything going on at SCCC? Me too. Enjoying some BBQ, some tacos, we're really mixing it up over here, chopping it up, love Texas. Hey, that's going to do it for us. Let's go and toss back to the casters for Game 3 and see who gets one step closer to that $10,000 first place prize.
Chief Pat, thank you so much, man. That player had really good interview skills. Interesting. Awesome matchup there. We heard Powerbank talking about how the comms were going. Rolex kind of rolling the team, moving the chess pieces around. Interesting to hear there. And that there's a lot of W, but they are going to just kind of try to stay consistent over these next few games.
Yeah, it made sense, right? Rolex is a former pro. He confirmed my suspicions that Rolex was playing IGL and PB was kind of playing follow-up. And, of course, their qualifier players, they've been putting up a stink as well. And so great shots across the board, great points across the board. They are in the running to win this whole thing. It was funny, though, Dave. You know what PB said? Classic PB playing host role there, right? He had great interview skills, but he also gave credit to everyone that was competing. He was asked the question directly, who are the teams to watch out for? He said everything, basically.
I love it. One thing he did point out, though, and it seems like this is a recurring story for a lot of these players, they're looking out for Coffee and Dabs. Like, what? I know Coffee and Dabs cut Bella Fox in line at the buffet, but what did they do? Everyone's gunning for him here tonight. So I love to kind of keep that drama stirring up here.
So is there like an identify coffee and dabs and avoid situation we may be seeing here? Or will teams more or less see like, okay, they're there, let's trail them, let's see if we can third party them and then kind of get the mastermind going? How can we see this working, Coach?
I mean, if I see coffee, I'm full sending. I want to try to knock him out as fast as possible.
I'm on a bicycle. I'm in a car. We're going.
Maybe he stole your seat. Maybe he said, "No, you move out of my couch. I'm taking this couch." I don't know what happened over there, but everybody's gunning for the team at the top, which makes sense. Take them out early. They can't score a lot of points. That's pretty simple math. I'm not great at it, but that makes sense to me.
You never do math on stream. We all know this. It's the kryptonite of casting. Let's take a look at the map, the schedule today, how it's working out. If you're just joining us, this is the Samsung Galaxy Battles. We have 16 content creators going head-to-head with 16 players who qualified through PUBG Mobile events, and they are now competing together and against each other today for some sick prizes. They are also playing on that Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. As we said before, it's that next big step in mobile technology. You're getting the fastest Snapdragon processor, a 200 megapixel camera with the ability of night mode powered by nightography, so you never have to worry about the lighting in your environment when you're taking pictures. That's one thing that we're all kind of pretty bad at, aren't we? So the phone does it for you. That's the amazing part. The game's going to make you better at games too. That processor is going to allow you to play at full throttle, go through your app smoothly whenever you're on your phone, and you won't have to worry because that 5,000 milliamp battery is going to keep you going all day long. Make sure you download PUBG Mobile on your phone wherever you are right now. It is free. They just hit the 2.5 update, so you can see all the stuff they continue to add to the game. It feels like it's new all the time. The 5th anniversary just hit, and the event for the 5th anniversary is around the corner. Gentlemen, I've been digging into it. I've been getting into it, and seeing what these players are doing is kind of blowing my mind with, claw play, or whether or not they've actually gone from a pad down to the Samsung S23 Ultra and still killing it is super impressive.
Yeah. I totally agree. I mean, something that you've noticed and we talked about all the time is obviously their skill level. They also have incredible content, right? Like, you got to be good at the game in order to make good content. At least that's my mentality. And so they're all fantastic at the game. It's a matter of, can you perform on land? And that's the fun conversation we have here, is that, yes, they're content creators. Some of them have a competitive background, but you're playing on LAN against all of your friends you've known for 4 or 5 years. And you've got, random teammates that worked your way through the qualifiers.
You hear power bang, he's cold.
There's all these types of variables, and LAN is just different, man. Like, the nerves are different. Those that have competed on LAN know what I'm talking about. The one person that has competed on LAN a ton that we haven't talked enough about, probably because they're at the bottom of the leaderboard, it's Huskers. I think there's still an opportunity, Dave. E8 at the bottom. They can do this. They got to lock it in. We still got 3 more maps. Not even halfway done. Talk to me, Dave, about some of the other teams, because I'm looking at E8. I think the bottom of the leaderboard curse is not real. I think they've got a good shot, but there's a lot of teams that still have a shot.
Yeah, I did really like E8 last game, kind of trying to be proactive, right? We saw them towards that mid game go for that center position, and we saw Winsanity trying to third party you with the Bolty. So to me, the team is looking to get these elims, right? Because they are 2 points each. So I do love the mentality from the squad going into this third map on Livik. And remember, Livik has that recall tower. So we might see some more aggressive drops here early on in Livik. So beautiful view, by the way. Beautiful view. Looking at other teams to kind of answer your question. Team Chaos, Melkor, where you at, man? I mean, we saw him last game, but I think that's another squad besides Noise. Like, Noise has the backpack. You know what I'm saying? We need to see the other 3 try to pick up that slack here. So
how uncommon is it to, sorry to interrupt, how uncommon is it to see someone do what Noise just did? I mean, obviously we're having fun today, but still overall, how often does one person just go for an entire team?
1v4 in an open field? I don't see it often. Like 1v4, maybe a building with a shotgun, sure, because we kind of are rocking that shotgun meta here in PUBG Mobile. But 1v4 in a field while getting third partied, I barely see that ever. So,
oh my word.
It looks like PB might be taking a bathroom break. Got to lock it in before the next round. There's Huskers, Win, Excited to see what they're able to do in this next one. We've mentioned them a couple times. I love this venue, by the way, too, right? Because we're able to showcase, obviously, all the amazing... Yeah, the Samsung devices are awesome. The lap pillows are awesome. Everybody's playing on couches. Like, it's fun to kind of see the different... the vibe of this venue being couches and kind of lounge chairs, because you can play mobile games anywhere, especially on these Samsung devices, and this is a perfect venue for this.
Yeah, and it's awesome to see everybody in chat, see sending vibes from Canada. These actual parents in here cheering on. Like, this is sick. I'm looking at some of the chats, and it's like player's mom, and they're like, hey, how's it going? And I'm just like, the support is so amazing to see in that instance as well. These players have all the backing. They're having a good time. No worries. Just playing on some Samsung S23 Ultras and having a good time doing it. The best part is you got players like Noise. I think Goji said it in the game that they're trying to show up. They're trying to get a little bit of the limelight. And with these creators, you get a chance to do that. They've earned it. So it's really cool to see this platform come in from Samsung, from PUBG Mobile, and allow these players to do this.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just Noise. It's all of the qualifying players that were able to make it here. I got to shout out the Grizzly Grizzlies, the Risley Grizzlies. I'll say it both ways the entire day today. But, you know, Quatch came in, and not even Rizatron's teammate from the qualifiers had to replace their teammate because Rizatron's teammate couldn't make it. And they're doing extremely well. So it's fun to not only see, you know, duos working together, but even, you know, two players that have never played before, probably never played on LAN before, they're getting involved. You can see some of those claw stocks or otherwise across the board. Everybody's got the gear. Everybody's locked in. Dave, I think you said it perfectly in the game. You know, not only are they making a name for themselves here, they might be trying to get signed. You do a lot of professional casting yourself. Noise is putting on a show today.
Listen, if I had an org, I'm signing Noise right now, you know what I'm saying? But to kind of add to the point, like, they are playing with content creators, and you have to assume a lot of these creators, they're going to go back after this event and make content about this game. And if you're Noise 1v4 and popping off game after game, you're going to be in some of these videos. So shout out to Noise. I'm looking for other players. I saw the chat. I think Killjoy might be another player that has a lot of hype behind him here today. One of those players
already got a shout out.
So it's looking good. Hey, and my mom's in the chat too, Riv. So say, hey,
oh snap!
Mom. What up, Mom?
What's up, Mustache Mom?
What up, Mom?
Oh snap! This is so good.
I think I've seen 3 different people claiming to be Dab's father. So we'll just
perfect.
We'll just leave it like that. I want to know from you guys, of course, but also people in chat, like, who you think is going to win on Livik, because we've seen the first 2 maps complete opposites. Livik is somewhere in the middle, and I wonder if a new team will rise to the top and be the cream of the crop in this map, or it'll be one of those returning squads. I mean, when we start thinking about Livik, it's 50 some odd players every single time you load in from pubs. So we've got 32. It'll definitely fit our teams. You're still going to see some of those aggressive early fights, but you have a little bit more room to work with in the middle game as well, Riv.
You do. I'm looking at Jacob. The Jacob squad is Insane Team, and Winsanity's E8 right now. And just on the cusp of that is Execute with Bella Fox, Lily Pichu, Killjoy, and Elise. But I think those 3 squads have just like had their moments, but then have been snuffed out short before they were able to get their points that they need.
Yeah, that's a great call out. Here's our Winsanity Huskers viewpoint, able to see a little bit of the game zoomed in from above. We got to shout out our camera crew and our production crew over there live in Texas.
Good calls. Good calls.
I just love being able to see these types of events, not only because they do an amazing job, but also these are just super unique. We've been talking about how unique it is. The Galaxy Battles is something that I've personally never seen before, where you get to see all of these players in person and LAN, but in a really cool venue. And we're hanging out in the booth from distance. It's hot over here. I can only imagine it's hot in there, especially with the hot drops and the drama. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, snap. Yeah, absolutely. And we talked about it a bit before, but the ability to just do this. Go download PUBG Mobile on your phone, and you may be able to qualify in one of these next events that gets you into this position that allows you to go home with the Snapdragon Elite chair that all the participants are getting for being here at the Samsung Galaxy Battles. Make sure you hit those socials, follow Samsung, follow PUBG Mobile everywhere you can to be updated on things like this. It's going to be amazing. Let's take a look at the maps one more time to remember where we're going. Gentlemen, I believe it's going to be Livik. I'm going to be tossing it to you quite soon here as everybody is also ready in the venue. This is going to be one of my favorite things. Usually the players are always doing things. Everybody is so ready to get into game. And gentlemen, it's your turn now to get into game too.
Yeah, Dave. I mean, talk to me a little bit about Livik. You and I love Livik. I actually had a chance to cast over a Livik tournament not too terribly long ago. Talk to me about the new and improved Livik and what you see whenever you're loaded into this map.
Yeah, I mean, we already saw right there. We had a nice little zoom in action on dab plays over the shoulder right there. You can see that squad looking for their drop spot, you know, trying to pinpoint exactly where they want to go based on the flight plan. If I'm them, I'm looking at power plant. Power plant's always a pretty exciting drop spot. Might have another team kind of contest it if you do want to get into that early game action, of course. But if you want to play a little slower, I think a couple teams might be eyeballing crabgrass, a little unorthodox. That plays not the best loot, but you know, a safer bet over here as we see Coffee warming up there, serenading us. Like Coffee also sings, you know, quick take right there, hot note right there as a SoundCloud. So make sure you go follow that. But I'm getting jealous. Goj, I don't know about you, but I'm getting jealous every time we look at the venue, the players, how comfortable they're looking, the smiles on their faces as, hey, game number 3, Livik, baby.
Look, Dave, as much as I love Livik, I'm not necessarily jealous of this plane line. We're fairly favorable towards the south. Not bad, certainly. You see a couple teams headed up towards Crabgrass or even further north. They're going to be floating for a while, though. And that, in particular, yet again, Coffee Squad stretching this map out. A lot of teams spreading out yet again, but most favoring the northern side. We see Envy is the only team to drop to the south. Of course, Waffles headed straight down towards Power Plant with
2 teams.
Yeah, it looks like there is one underneath it as well. Yeah, it's a light blue and a dark blue right on top of each other.
Oh, they're fighting.
Yeah, they're already involved immediately. E8's on the far right-hand side of the map. See how that encounter goes down in just a second.
We got ourselves a hot drop here on Livik. Waffles Gaming. That's going to be Waffles Gaming Pickles. Now, Ruku, they had an amazing game, number 1, you know, because of that comeback mechanic. Game 2, we saw them, they lost 2 really early on, so they're forced to kind of just snake it and avoid all the fights possible, of course, to go for those placement points. So very curious to see game number 3, if they opt to kind of go for that more aggressive play style here early on. And it does look like they're doing just that, getting involved early in Power Plant, baby.
Yeah, I like it. We talked about that being one of the hot drops. And when you only have 8 teams, I mean, there's only so many hot drops you can have. Here's the fight. Addy in trouble already, and it looks like it's going to be a 2v1 push. Might have another right around the corner to try to help with this hold, but this is going to be a very tough fight to win. Comes around, finds one. Rook tries to pre-aim, and it's not going to get the better of him, but look at this. In the last second, able to quickly grab the revive. Dave, that's a heads-up play from Waffles Gaming.
Yeah, heads-up play right there. Addy trying to clutch out, but not with their teammates. So Addy not getting the message, but fortunate for Addy, the recall tower. Here's the recall tower. So we could bring him right back right now as 1 elim underneath their belt. So now Power Plant is going to be free and clear. Waffles Gaming, Pickles, Ruku Esports going to come out on top of that one. As looking around, everyone else, that was like the only early game action coach. Sorry to let you know. Everyone else try harding. You know, they're try harding here this game. They're getting their loots. They're setting up and they're looking to play, man. They're looking to play for these points here because we got a lot on the line. We got $10,000, first place, 5K, second place, plus all the devices. You know what I'm saying? And the bragging rights. Just imagine going home after this, the YouTube thumbnail, the title, I won. You know, I won the Galaxy Samsung battles. Like, that's more clickable than I placed 3rd or I placed 4th, you know? So definitely these creators are going to be trying their best here tonight.
Well, you can see on the right-hand side, Rook has 2 elims to their name for a total of 4 points. Overhaul has 1 elim. That's Farouk, Hawk's Nest, and Omega, who we saw on our screen a moment ago. So you're able to pick off 1, it seemed like. Both teams able to recall back the towers. Metacore's team hearing some shots in the distance, but not necessarily involved. Here's Godsley looking downrange. Look, anytime you can pick up even just 1 elimination and force one of these teams to try to head to one of those recall towers and bring somebody back, it slows their mojo, right? They have to stop their looting. They got to run all the way over to the recall tower, potentially put themselves in a dangerous position, slowing the momentum and making teams not do what they want to do. That's kind of the nature of the Battle Royale game. So that's definitely what Noise wants to try to do. Getting shot at. Oh, wow. Getting one in the back. Holy cow. Out of nowhere. I think that is Overhaul actually down below in the light blue.
Yeah, talk about slowing the mojo. Noise a little too confident right now, in my opinion. Up here by themselves between two different squads.
Run!
Super far away from their teammates, trying to avoid these bullets in the back right here. Now,
no way.
Noise can get recalled, so I do get that, but you lose your kit, you know? You lose your kit. So Noise looking to make maybe another 1v4, possibly. Going to be paying the price right there.
Yeah, it's a part of the strategy to some degree. You can see Killjoy's actually finding Winsanity in the kill feed as well. It's part of the strategy on Livid because you can recall people. You can sometimes send one aggro player up. The 3v1 split probably even more viable, especially if the three are close by. But all of a sudden, you can't recall if your entire team is eliminated. INS in trouble. 3 knocked, 1 still up, and that's Jacob's team that is in a sizable amount of trouble as 2 get fully cleaned up. And this is Grizzly Rizzlies yet again finding knocks and eliminations.
Yeah, looks like Farouk trying to go for that off angle from that spray in the smokes. But over here, more action popping on off. Godsley pulling up from behind with the cleanup. The last one alive, though. The last one alive. So looking to possibly get a pickup.
TRG versus Chaos. Nice little window peek, but there's one behind holding the angle. It's Rizatron. Grizzly Rizzly still in it.
8 limbs.
Yeah, that is a huge swing in points out of nowhere, Dave. We're talking 16 points, 8 elims beginning of this map. We had a question mark in our heads of whether or not it'd be quick. It's starting off pretty hot like we expected.
Yeah, already losing 2 teams very early on here. Wiped out, kaput out the lobby. But we did see last game, Coffee Dabs, the Grizzlies. They only got placement points, no elims. So it looks like this time, bouncing right back in the game. That momentum meter starting to, the gauge is going up here, Goach. The gauge is going up. And honestly, they did lose Coffee, but they're probably going to be looking for that recall tower. They might be able to get it back up. But 8 elims this early on, you have to be feeling good.
Oh, you're feeling incredible. Not only we have 2 teams fully eliminated, so we have 6 total left. Chaos was the squad in third. Chaos was the team that had such a massive game kind of from the bottom of the leaderboard all the way up to third just after map 2. So you hate to see that team fully eliminated now with only 4 points in total netted. And then INS, Insane, was in 5th. Overall with 28 points. They're out of it as well. So TRG not only can continue to climb this leaderboard, but they'll start gapping some of these other teams that were kind of breathing down their necks.
Yeah, very true. And then after that, it's just being consistent. You know, we only got 2 more games after this, so they just need to be consistent, get some good points, and just maintain after that. So this could be a massive game, like you said, for them to really climb the leaderboards and put a nice little gap between them. But Waffles Gaming with the quad.
Hello.
Coffee just got back up. Just got called back. Waffles Gaming. She's rolling up, getting a nice little run over right there. Oh, but taken out in the process.
Yeah, Dab with nice cover. Rook barely able to survive that one and finds Dab trying to cross. So now we got an all-out war currently. Rook goes right back down to 1 HP. He's going to have to play this slow. Waffles at least knocked, but not eliminated. Dab going for Coffee. Rook not able to get to Waffles yet. So this won't be necessarily the 2v2 they would have hoped for. Could go for the res now. Might be a little bit late, though. If I'm Dab, I'm pushing at the very least. Try to grab some information with some nades. There's one coming in potentially from behind. Here comes Rizatron. Will he get the res off in time? Just barely. One over the wall, one down below. Down below gets it. Quick elimination there on Rook's squad. Not the entire team, but it's going to put them in a very tough position here, Davis. I believe it's just 2 left on that team.
Yeah, I respect the call to get the pickup, but Rizza with that wide flank, the wraparound to really get the collapse. You love the team comms right there from Dab's squad, just making sure to clean up them points while they're going for that revive, while they're hurting. But Pickles is going to be getting the pickup over here. I'm looking, Pickles is deep in the blue as well. Next zone did pop, so they have a little time to work with as they look to rotate into that next circle. They're going to be getting chunked out, though, so we'll keep an eye on them. But another team that's just constantly in the mix all game long. Oh, my goodness. The Grizzlies, man.
Killjoy's fun, too. Yeah, Killjoy's fun, too. Coffee's down again. I think they're able to get Coffee out with smokes, though. Killjoy is maybe on a Killjoy at this point. Envy down below. Killjoy's kind of playing that 3v1 push, a kind of aggressor role. Rolex was able to stave off their push. So Killjoy's backed up, playing a bit more patient.
Anyone picking up coffee? Come on. I know coffee's been knocked out a lot of times, but pick up coffee. Saving private coffee here.
Well, power bank's out too right now, and so if there's a recall tower in the zone, could go for it. But we saw at least one. I think it was Pickles out deep into the zone to go for the recall. I'm not sure if there's another one closer by that was maybe a bit more contested they could have gone for, but curious to see if recalls are even available at this point.
Killjoy knows. I mean, just zooming on in.
It's a great spot to be, not only high ground, but right on the edge of zone. Can really play kind of the fly catcher, if you will, as everybody comes swarming in.
Come on, there we go.
Yep.
Oh! Patience is key. Patience is key. I would have taken shots a long time ago, but Killjoy just waiting for that headshot right there. Beautiful. And going back to PB's crew, I saw them all the way down in the south playing the edge, playing nice and slow, but it looks like they did rotate all the way up here to the north, and now they're just like stuck in the mix here, Goj.
Yeah, this is a nice little conglomerate of 3 or 4 teams all around each other. Some missing players, some not. Again, this is PB's squad. This is NV with Rolex. PB is out and Chill's in trouble. And on the edge of zone, they should make it to zone if they have a decent amount of heals. We're going to see Pickle actually get taken out by Rolex, who was holding Pickle, I believe, coming back from that deep recall. And probably see Chills die to zone here if we're not careful. Yeah, Envy's going to have to move on. This is a tough sell as it starts ticking away and chunking away. Dave, we've both been there 1,000 times. You can hang out in the blue for a while if you got meds, but if you're not careful, you're going to lose your life.
I mean, it hurts. Look how quick they're getting chunked down. A Rolex from behind. The backstab. Didn't even expect it. I was going to say, this next circle's just trolling all these players up in the north because it just went all the way down there. Look at this hard shift all the way down there. This is a good opportunity, though, for Bella Fox Gaming, Lily Pichu, Execute to try to gatekeep and get some points over here. They got 2 elims so far, and they're gonna be strolling in late here to the zone, but they have nobody behind them now because of that blue. Just doing so much work, so much damage here, just late in the game.
Dave, we got to put the blue on the leaderboard. I mean, good grief, we're about to see another one. Killjoy barely gets the heals off in time. I don't know if it's going to be enough if they're going to make it in. This thing is flying, and it is consuming. Grab a vehicle smartly. Bella is able to do that. Now, here's my boys. This is E8, okay? Now they don't have any elims, Dave, but they're playing. They're playing for those placement points. They need to get some points on the board, and they've got a great position in zone. You can see speed's right on that kind of god spot on the rock, especially if the zone pulls their side. Likely they're going to have to move eventually. This is too close.
In the quad. Bella, the zone. The zone in the quad.
The all-consuming void, Dave. This is rough.
You know what though? 2v2, 4v4. This is what you want to see. 2 teams left, 4 up, late game. That's it.
This could be a huge swing for E8 as well, albeit they have 0 points. TRG's happy with their spot. They might continue to rally and roll through the competition, though, and try to grab a potential over 40-point game with 24 points without their placement points calculated. We're talking 12 elims from the side of TRG. The Grizzlies, they're risen on their teammates here, my friend, because Dab is going to get involved.
They're at the door.
Yeah, EA is in trouble. They're on their heels, 0 elims, and they're just getting annihilated by Coffee and Co.
Wow, they're at the door. Looks like Winsanity is going to have this monster truck for cover, but Coffee with the shotgun, the pump and dump ready to go. And here comes the push coach after that grenade. Massive grenade.
Sometimes you cook those frags, sometimes you brew them. TRG, Coffee Squad on top. They came to play. They said they wanted another interview, and they got it. Now, E8, they're walking away with at least a few placement points. Coffee or tea, I don't know. Maybe Coffee puts the coffee beans inside the tea bag and dips it, right? There's a little bit of extra, but huge congratulations. The Grizzlies came to play, living up to their name and grabbing yet another victory. That's 2 wins out of 3 maps here, Dave. This is a huge swing for that squad.
Oof. They're doing some big things. I gotta, if you cast your mind back, the one play Rizitron had, you saw a player looking in the window of the house at his teammates, ready to wipe his team, and out of nowhere, the camera flips around, you see Rizitron save the entire squad there. Great flank play. They move on to take everything. I think that was a big one to solidify a lot here, and we did have Winsanity's squad in the end, but it seemed like they were kind of avoiding everything to get to that point. We can see how tough it's getting and how hard Riz can go on these smaller maps, guys.
Yeah, no, it's a great call out. We're going to get a chance to see some of the replays from in the house and also in the game. Look, they're excited, and they should be. You know, before the game, after the game, they were on top, gentlemen. They're at the very top of the leaderboard, and they won again with some odd 40 points. We'll see that math in a little bit, but let's take a look back and see how it happened. There's a couple of eliminations across the board for Over, who's going to be on the leaderboard. Waffles, and I will give credit to Waffles Game. She has been in the action nonstop. Sometimes it's paid off, and sometimes it hasn't.
Rook started off early again. They usually get a few kills right off drop.
Yeah, it's definitely their play style. You know, we saw them game number 1 try to accomplish that this game, and I believe the next map is going to be Noosa. So if there is a game to kind of clap back, it has to be this next map for Rook, just because that's what favors their play style. But Coffee this game had to have been knocked out and even flushed at least 3 times. So shout out to the Risley Grizzlies for just that teamwork, for making sure to hit those revive towers, you know, and keep getting them back up here to show up in this late game.
Well,
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, Rip, before you go to the next point, we'll see the final fight here. The blue zone needs to be on that leaderboard because we saw how nasty the death void can be, especially when it's moving quick. So a nice victory, a nice victory celebration, but the blue zone would be about halfway up this leaderboard, Rip.
See, we were thinking the same thing. You took the words out of my mouth. I was just going to say that the blue zone gets Snapdragon Elite chair for that round. So, like all the competitors. So here we see game 3 rankings. From what we just saw, the Risley Grizzlies again. I mean, you said it when they were going in. They're like, this could be an over 40-point game if they solidified E8. They did an astronomical distance between the first and second place here.
It's insane. I mean, 47-12. Obviously, shout out to EA, able to grab second place from the last map, so that's 12 placement points. Didn't grab an elimination to write home, but 12 is a solid point total. But when your competition had 49 points going into that map, and it drops a 47-point map. I mean, look, I'm not going to do the math, but hey, we're in the 90s, folks, and we're dropping 12 points. There's only 5 maps. Like, we got to get a move on. I say full sail, full send. That's my motto for the next one.
I want to stick on the move on point. Dave, how often do we see the zone drop that many players?
Hey, listen, you cannot underestimate Papa Blue. All right, you can't, especially in the late game. You gotta respect Papa Blue, because Papa Blue, it hurts, man. It hurts, and I think we lost like 5 or 6 players that game. Real quick though, shout out to Rizatron with that clutch grenade onto Insanity's squad at the very end. Like, that was massive. Shout out to the Dab Nation. They're showing up in the chat too. I think Dab's mom's now in the chat. So that's pretty cool. It's a family affair, but Dab Nation popping up here in the chat too. So what a come up. And the question for me as we look at this leaderboard, how do you come back? You know, how do you clap back? Envy, you know, how do you catch up at this point?
You almost need to drop on Risley Grizzlies, right? You need to find the podium winners and take them out so they have no chance. But they're not going down. It's super difficult. And if one of them does go down, the rest 3 swarm you almost immediately.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Risley Grizzlies at 96 on top in just a dominating manner. You've got to envy, though. 59, certainly within striking distance if you drop a banger of a map. Rook right there as well. So seemingly Rook's kind of highly aggressive stance, sometimes paying off, sometimes not. They're in the top 3, so they're still there and certainly could walk away with a ton of cash and some amazing devices.
All right, well, our interview is ready. Let's head down. Maybe some more coffee talk with Chief Pat.
All right, thank you very much, everyone. Wow, what a game at Coffee and PUBG. Their second dub today. I just started talking to the winners. Why don't we talk to some losers over here? We got the tribes. Okay, all right, yeah. We got the tag trio of me, Godsley, and Hawks. Boys, what's we putting on the show right now? You know, what's going on? Well, I just saw that we're not actually bad. So, in that, that's what we're good for. So, I think we're like 4th or something. You know, I think we might be carrying a little bit, but one of the teammates wanted to go to the 5. That was a lot of that, you know, obviously that's 23 ultra things that come into that source, and I've got some people here who are okay with basically last place and basically right in the middle. That's what's going on. Give me a recap so far. How's we go? how's your gameplay going? Are we picking up any knocks? Are we coordinating with the team? How's it playing with new people that you've never met before? It's fun, and that's what matters. Playing on this 24-year-old club and great time, playing with the best of us, and we're not having a great time. This guy needs all 5,000 milligrams of battery to make sure that this practice. So, we're down like 5 battery. Yeah, it's insane how much. You got the top 2 players. How was that? Yeah. I didn't know that. You know what? You know, 5 out of 5 people. That's good. That's what I was going to start out. I was no ladder. I was smoothly able to revive them. Boom. Them tell me what to do, and then somehow got top 2. So, gotta do the best strat. Teamwork makes the dream work. Speaking of, what's been the strat so far, and what do you think they're looking for? Obviously, you guys want the first place shot. 10 green. That's the level, yes, 23 ultras. If you're on the money, you might as well do it. Why not? What's the strat? I think you guys might be doing that in your chance. Yeah, I guess my strategy is just to find where he lands. Place him immediately. Well, here's the thing. If we want to even have a chance of getting first, we have to kill everyone a lot of times. So, I mean, that's what we're going to do, I guess. Because that's what we can do. Elimination strategy. Elimination strategy and then heal strategy and points. You got the sequence of your access. This is let's find this. Teammates, tell me their teammates. Ultimately, we win today. Give me the chance to know them. How top? Do you have a favorite? Do you have a least favorite? You want to start some beef? What's going on? I want to give some blame. I mean, no. I can't go much deeper. I like that team a lot. Again, I'm having a great time. It's super fun. I mean, it's fun also to watch what's going on. You get to see everyone else play. So, yeah, not a whole lot to do that. Nice. They're cool. Killing mostly English, but it hasn't stopped us. It's the body. Yeah, it is. Being on the game, that feels like everything. You know that. That's beautiful. Especially with being the better creator. Yeah. Everything's the still having the guy no matter what. That's what we want to see. Final words before we go back to that. Yes. Any motivating speech? We're going to give a little War of the Rings back to go to the final battle type speech or. I'm going to have a content creator mind so I understand how storylines work. So we're in an underdog position, and that's how we want to be. So, yeah, watch out for team over. Awesome. Just the spectators are going to be ready. Bold statements, definitely not factually true. That's what you're going to hear. Instead of going to the classrooms, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. Let these guys decompress, and we're going to be back with some more PUBG Mobile action. Stay tuned. Go.
Wow. Can you send me that?
Can you send me that?
Can you send me that?
Could you please send me that?
welcome back to Galaxy Battles, brought to you by Samsung Snapdragon and PUBG Mobile. We are getting ready to get into our next games. I'm Rived, joined by Goj, Mustache Dave, and Chief Pat on site, giving us the nitty-gritty from all the match MVPs as they are done with their victories. There's TRG right there, the Grizzlies on your screen, holding first place, gentlemen. They are kind of trouncing the competition right now, really advancing on these smaller maps. It didn't seem like Erangel worked for them, but they could care less at this point.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, trouncing the competition is a fantastic way to put it because Riv, they're at 96 points total after 3 maps, with 2 of those maps being wins.
Wild.
Second place is at 59. So it's a strong, here we go. Production's right on it with me. I'm looking over off to the side. 96. Look at this. 59 right below, 48, 46, 38, 30. Like everybody else was within striking distance of second, maybe. I mean, certainly you could see, Dave, a replication of what the Grizzlies were able to do. There's enough kind of competence level or competitive level at the very least with some of these teams to be able to do that. But it'll be very, very difficult, especially because we only get Livik once.
Yeah, a ton of elims too. 40 elims. 40 elims. Like, that's massive. And another kind of surprise for me is because I'm looking at Dabs. Like, Dabs is popping off here tonight. Dabs usually only plays Metro Royale. So that's a completely different game mode within PUBG Mobile. So for him to be coming in here, popping off like he is, shout out to Dabs, man. Shout out to you, man.
Yeah, they seem to be feeling it. Everybody on the team has seemed to have done something, right? Coffee did, Riztron with a huge clutch last game. We see that, as you said, we're going to Livik here, so probably, again, in their favor to be on a small map and get in everybody's face right away. So somebody has to bring that power, Coach. They have to be just as aggressive as the Grizzlies.
No, I totally agree. I mean, I'll ask the question to you guys, and we'll ask the question to chat, too. We would love to hear, what do you guys think? Of the 3 maps, which one has been your favorite thus far? Maybe, Dave, you want to start. Do you like the fast-paced Nusa? Do you like the build-up of Erangel, or was that Livik medium ground the perfect metric?
Nusa all day, the smallest map. Game 1 was so exciting. I mean, we got the shotgun, you got the monster truck, you got all the different points of interest. I mean, it's just all close quarter combat action. You're just stacked on top of each other because the map is so small. So there's just always action going down.
It's got to be the same for me. The smallest, the instant battle. I'm always somebody who presses W in the games I play, or hold shift in PUBG Mobile, so we can see everybody kind of subscribing to that gameplay, and I'm here for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that.
Yeah, totally agree. I think Nusa was a blast. I'm a big fan of the analytical breakdown, so I'll go with Erangel. Those are the 2 that we'll be seeing,
all right.
We got Nusa next, so we'll satiate you a little bit more with some fast-paced action. Erangel to finish it off, so excited for the final 2 maps.
It should be good. I think everybody is kind of in a more go for broke mode. Dave, I heard you say earlier, after that first game, you go for the strategy. Now I think it's almost like, all right, we're throwing a bit of the strategy out the window and we're building the plane as it's flying now. Would you say yes?
For sure. Yeah, we heard from the Tribe Boys too on the break, with Chief Pat, that they strategically are at the bottom, because they love the storylines. They love being the underdog. So I think this is the map to be that underdog and come back, because we do have that early game revive mechanic here on Nusa.
Heck yeah. If you're just joining us in chat, you've missed some awesome play. You'll be able to watch it. This is the Samsung Galaxy Battles here with 16 content creators going head-to-head with 16 players that have qualified here. And we'll see what they can do as we get right back into the map. Gentlemen, take it away.
Woo, Dave. All right. It's Nusa. It's fast paced. If we learned anything from the first time we saw this map, chat, if you're just tuning in, get ready to buckle down. You won't even have time to blink. It's about to be nonstop action across the entirety of this map. It was pretty hot near center at that science center, but looking like a decent. No, a lot of the same.
Same.
I thought I saw some more southern spots, but it can't even get a weapon here, Dave.
Even more. All I hear are just gunshots popping off. We're going to have to pay close attention to the elim feed right here, because there's about 4 to 5 different teams right now, Goj, in Science Center.
As a reminder, as we're seeing bodies after bodies fall, Hawk's Nest falling, of course, on your screen, there is a respawn mechanic. First 3 minutes, you get 1 free kind of do-over without even having to hit a tower. A mod's going to go down. We saw in the interview Overhaul being one of the teams to watch out for, saying they could have this kind of comeback story. Not so good thus far, but we learned from Rook last time that just because you lose a few in the very beginning doesn't mean you can't win at all. And speaking of Rook, look at that active scoreboard on the right.
Wow.
Rook is the team that found the weapons early. Rook is the team with 5 elims already. Somebody's got to stop the bleeding before Rook starts running away with it and starts stabbing at the team at the top.
Yeah, this is exactly what we saw from Rook game number 1. This was their strength. This is what put them up there at the top of the leaderboards, is dropping Science Center, getting these early game elims, and then just walking away after that. So we'll see if they can keep doing that. That's Chill peeking that corner right there, talking about Rook. 2 down so far. 3 down out there in the distance. They need to make sure not to lose that last one.
Yeah, that's the key. You get 1 free revive. If your full team's out, though, you're not going to get it. So you better stay safe, especially if the last one alive. And I got to give a shout out to Chills there. Nice little shoulder peek, a little pre-fire around the corner. Is going to be able to wipe and then clean both up. Now, Noise finds Winsanity yet again. I believe that's the second time Winsanity's gone down, so you probably won't see Win back, but a lot of eliminations coming through, and there's a ton of fighting, and Overhaul is getting the better of some opponents. Nice trades here from Overhaul. Omega down, but teammate able to cover, and that'll clean up one of the Risley Grizzlies.
Yeah, it's going to clean them up, but this is what we were talking about. They have such a point lead on the overall leaderboard that they can risk a lot here and play a lot more aggressive, and that's exactly what we saw right there. They should be able to get picked back up moving forward, but Science Center, the action's still not done here, Coach. We still got teams fighting it out over here.
Yeah, that's Insane versus Envy. A couple trades back and forth. Chills finally falls after getting the better of a ton of opponents, but the Insane squad, Invorter trying to get involved, looking for a couple eliminations in their own right. Insane with only 2 showing. Now, that might get updated here in a moment, because I believe Chills we saw at least get 2 by themselves, and maybe Chills was playing the aggressor. But Insane Invorter is going to kind of clean up the rest of this loot. Coming in with a little bit of a broom here, Dave, to clean up. Yeah. I mean, there's dead bodies everywhere, and certainly some things to loot up if you haven't found anything. But look at this. Grizzly trying to poke the nair, and they get it? I think it banked off the door frame, and they're going to trade each other. I don't think there's anybody else around to revive them either, Dave. What a trade. Rook pushes the equation and wins it, but Quatch cooked it long enough to get the knock. That was ridiculous. It did look like potentially one of them was going to be able to get revived before they get fully eliminated.
So many people just crawling too, and not like Jacob. They're crawling because they're knocked. what an insane match here so far. Jacob over here looking for some angles here, looking for some intel. Don't see any squad mates near him. Okay, they got a couple teammates in the back line right there, but shout out Freya in the chat. I love the gaming pillows. Freya knows what's up, and I see a couple people. Remember, I mentioned Dab plays, loves playing Metro Royale. A couple people said he's playing it just like that because he doesn't want anyone to get his loot. So that might be the strat. He doesn't want anyone to get his loot. You know what I'm saying? So Metro Royale is the training mode that he's been playing and preparing for today. But looking ahead, we did lose Team Chaos though. Metalcore, Godzilla, like that's Noise. Noise is done.
Yeah, that's tough. And it looked like Noise actually was maybe was able to grab a ton more knocks. Only 2 eliminations in total. If our scoreboard is correct there, 4 points. Not going to be great. Jake will get caught unawares and will get knocked by Rolex. Look, I got to say, this back and forth between Rolex and Jacob is a lot of fun to watch. So far, Rolex's squad, Team Envy, has gotten the better of them most of the time. Envy in second, Dave, with 59 total points. So they need a big game here, and Rolex is going to try to make sure that happens.
Yeah, remember, Rolex is the IGL, so Rolex is going to be getting that knock on Jacob, and we can see Rolex, the crew right behind him, trying to pile on in, trying to provide that back-end support right there, that room for Rolex to really thrive here and be that frontline fragger like he has been here tonight. And nice little camera view of the squad. Calm, collective, focused. Love the focus from them right now.
Well, this is the other team that has a victory. Something to keep in mind, we played 3 maps, and we've seen the same winner in 2. But Powerbang Squad, Team Envy, is the team that won the second map. That was Erangel. This time, back on Noosa. Seemingly doing pretty well. And it's good to correct ourselves on broadcast here. Chills is still alive, a part of that Envy team, which is PB Squad. So still in it, and maybe a bit more eliminations than we gave him credit for. Total of 10 points. That's 5 elims. Mostly on the side of Chills. Looks like they've at least found 4 of them. So now all playing together, they're slowing their roll a little bit here, Dave, because that revive mechanic's probably been utilized by most people, not necessarily out of time yet, albeit probably close to it.
Yeah, I love the player cams too. You can just kind of see how focused they're playing, how in tune they are with the game here. As everyone right now trying to play catch up to the Grizzlies. Honestly, the Grizzlies all the way at the top as we get a nice little glimpse of the zone. Grizzlies dead center for the time being. Going to be big chilling, just kind of playing this one out, waiting to see where these circles take them. And they're also going to be on the high ground. So very similar to their strategies on game number 1, just keeping 4 up, late game, high ground. We'll see what happens as a majority of the team is going to be on this east side of the zone right now.
Yeah, look, a lot of skill in that decision. A little bit of luck, too, that some of the teams that are missing players are all running into each other as well. So everybody's going to be weak running into an encounter with the Grizzlies should things continue the way they are. Team on your screen right now, Pickle Chew, they're missing 2 and can't get him back. It's just Pickle Chew and Waffles left alive. You've got Killjoy right around the corner, and Elise maybe getting involved shortly, trying to get a bit of information potentially from up above. Bella Fox, as per the usual, the sniping goddess from behind. And you peek, not necessarily using that sniper, but trying to play the long view. Killjoy getting closer as well, but they're going to continue to try to work together and maybe trade some loot out between them. They're looking okay on meds, not amazing, but it is new, so you don't have a lot of time for looting, and now they're in trouble off to the left-hand side. It looks like Overhaul taking some pot shots.
Love the teamwork. Shout out to Bella, too. I mean, been grinding the TikToks out here. 100K, I think, last week. So shout out to Bella Fox Gaming. If you haven't, make sure you go check out her TikTok over there. Pretty prime content in PUBG Mobile. As we're looking at them. We're looking to execute. I believe they're trying to come back up these leaderboards. You know, they're looking for that game, that spark to really set them up for success in our last and final map here. We see they got a couple elims. The next zone does pop. They do have a duo right ahead of them. Okay, we're in a fight. We're in an engagement. Oh, the drop shot. Not successful.
Well, here comes Lily Pichu, of course, one of the amazing content creators making it down, trying to get involved in a nice little trade here. Does have numbers, but Waffle's going to get better of one. Bella comes into the shotgun and able to do 1, 2, 3 pump. See ya later. Waffles Gaming & Co. out of there, and a quick revive. They won't even lose 1, Dave.
Shotgun OP. The DBS right there coming in clutch, but you know what? That gave away their position, and this is Rizatron. Rizatron last game with a clean grenade to seal the deal and get that winner chicken dinner. It's gonna have that intel, and we see them just eyeballing now over here. So execute. They need to be cautious. Oh, and now Killjoy gonna be getting some shots in return, receiving some shots down range. Hopefully they have a vehicle to work with. They should be able to easily rotate. There's a ton of room up to the north. Which I saw them scouting a little bit ago, so they are going to be aware of their next path in. But Rizatron's going to be making it a little more difficult here.
Hey, this is Rizatron's MO. Just long-distance gunfights, plinkoing, utilizing resources against their opponents. I mean, I got to say, it's a smart move. This is the team that struggled to get into the zone the last encounter. They're used to and have been this entire tournament playing the edge of this blue. So if you can make them deplete some of their resources, go down on health, it's a huge boon on their rotations. Yeah. They're going to have to go in a little bit earlier than they would like. Rizatron, though, gets caught unaware, out by themselves, doing a good job playing solo. Unfortunately, gets shot from a distance. I don't know if they're going to go for the revive there. Oh, Dab's now in trouble, and this is Overhaul trying to push the equation, but Addy gets dinked from Coffee around the corner. They're playing that building well, Dave.
Yeah, that was massive out there, by the way. Rizatron getting chunked out. That's going to just open up that rotate from Team Execute. So they're going to be able to rotate in for free. Meanwhile, like you said, the other three caught in their own little engagement as well. So Rizatron is still bleeding on out, but the key takeaway here is Rizatron was holding down Execute, not allowing them to rotate. And that knock just let them in. Look at them now. Great position in this next circle.
Yeah, especially when you start Overhaul's lost a couple at this point. They had to back off from the fight, and that's going to allow Rizatron to, I believe, get revived. Now Killjoy's trying to get involved a little bit playing aggressor, but yet again, a tough zone pull for Bella Fox's team.
No
Killjoy's, they're trying to potentially clear a pathway here. You have to get through. Rizatron able to do so, apparently.
Another knock. Killjoy versus Rizatron. That's just been one of the storylines all night long. Like, they just got it out for each other. But honestly, let's see what the trio does. The first place team right now, they're going to be getting caught in somewhat of a sandwich because I see Powerbang and Rolex rolling up from behind with the grenades, lock and loaded in hand.
Here he comes.
They're making the push, Coach.
Powerbang's on the outside, Dab on the inside. This is going to be a tough fight, but a crucial one. Coffee in trouble. Coffee, I believe, knocked by Powerbang. Powerbang coming in from one side and on the other. Teammate pinching through. Dab in trouble as well. Quatch inside. Powerbang continuing to pre-fire corners. Rolex cooking a few names. This could be all she wrote for the Risley Grizzlies. This will be their worst performance in a map thus far, albeit this is still a good map for them. They've already grabbed a ton of eliminations.
Oh, Powerbang on the hunt with the M4. Forced to dip behind the boulder, behind cover, because now they're getting third partied.
Of course. You have to.
Killjoy.
That's Dave. Powerbang squad got the full wipe. TRG's out of there. They still scored 20 points, by the way. So still a massive game. But now Envy in trouble because we've got Killjoy coming in from behind, taking out Powerbang. So player advantage is on the side of Execute. And now, oh, jeez.
Drop shot.
Killjoy's out of there. See ya. Rolex takes the rooftop advantage. A great vantage point to grab the elimination. They're not out of it yet, necessarily. Execute is the only team that had 4, now 3. So pretty even playing field across the board, but got to give a shout out to Killjoy.
Yeah, Killjoy definitely trying to make a play right there, but just a little too separated from the rest of the squad of Execute, who are kind of playing the edge right up to the north. But you know what is important is Killjoy is going to be able to relay that intel. Like, hey, there's a team here. Watch out. He's going to be able to ping this compound. Let them know that if you are pushing this direction, there's most likely 1 or 2 players here. So intel is everything. Next circle pops up once again. And I'm telling you, Team Execute and Zones, they just don't go together here, Coach. Every game, they cannot catch a break when it comes to the zones here, as it does center up a little bit, but not on top of them.
Look at Huskers. Huskers has been hanging out in this building for a while. He's going to have 2 down below. He's playing the waiting game. I don't know if they know that he's here, actually. They're looting up down below. Huskers has been on the rooftops or close to it pretty much the entire time. They'll clear this building. Look, Rolex might know he's here, actually. Huskers going to try to get the better of him. He's the wrong corner. Huskers has an opportunity, but 2v1, 3v1, that's not going to be enough. Huskers is going to go down. That's a tough fight to win if those are 3 Pubs players, but that's Team Envy. That's Rolex and co rolling up on you. That's a nearly impossible fight, unfortunately, for Huskers.
Yeah, 9 limbs now for the squad of Envy. And Huskers did have a duo up here on the high ground, kind of playing that oversight. But like you said, 2v1, very difficult. Let's see, though, what the squad can pull out the hat. This is going to be E8s. Remember, they need a lot of points to try to climb these overall leaderboards. They have a nice little vantage point in the zone up there to the north. Going to be overlooking the village here of the Bay. So they might be able to rack up a couple elims. I do like their positioning here. Fingers crossed, though, the zone goes towards them, and it doesn't. And speed down.
I think speed may have fallen off the mountain. Not positive. I think I did see that, though. We still got 1 left alive. E8 still with an opportunity to get a decent rep. Sees at least out in the open, goes for it. Decent planks, but not enough to do too much, especially with a teammate in that building. This is going to be a very tough fight to win. Yeah, and with the zone pull, you called it out, Dave. E8's in trouble, and yet again, Team Envy is in a perfect position.
Can we confirm?
No, we're getting the replay on this production.
The 2 times replay. Okay. Woo, I was like, okay, how much BM we're doing here? Oh, Bella Fox tagging the bag out there in the distance. So E8 not done yet here, Goj.
Mateen is going to do what they can. Again, you're not going to be able to get the revive on your teammate, unfortunately breaking their legs. Could heal off a little bit, but Elise is going to hang out here and play as patient as they possibly can. This will be a free cleanup if I've ever seen one. It's a few, misses a couple. Somehow not done yet, still not in the zone. Pushes the equation. There's the team wipe. E8 done and dusted. 12-point game. Again, not a bad game, just not, in comparison to some of the other teams, not enough necessarily. But could execute. 20 points thus far, 3 teams left, and it's a 2-3-1.
Yeah, I did like that. The jump shot barrel was pretty clean, but Envy over here, hearing those shots out there in the distance, trying to close the gap. Now in the southern part of this new circle, they got some hard cover to work with. They got some windows to peek. Oh, and I was going to say, that pool right behind them, if you sit in the pool, it heals you. So it's the healing waters as well they have to their advantage, but it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter.
Whoa.
They're not chilling in the pool.
Hey, shout out to Team Envy. They made the flawless rotation. They set up flawlessly, and they cleaned up every single team before the other teams even had a chance. They were having to rotate in. Envy got there first. They're holding the edge of the zone. It worked out for them. The other teams didn't want to die to the blue. They had to push in. Free eliminations there for Powerbank and Co. And Dave, I gotta say it. 4 games, 2 different team winners. That is the second win for Team Envy.
I do love real quick right there. I saw at the end, they're like, oh, who's doing the interview? And they all pointed at PB. And PB was like, okay, I'm doing it, I guess. That's exactly what happened. But Riv, hey, what's up, man? What'd you think about that game?
Instantly gets up. He's like, I got this. Don't worry about it. That was a fun one to watch. Seeing, I think they're still on top. Grizzlies, they actually went out a little earlier, but still the point gap they had. Also, half of the play in this game was just back and forth trades, res. I was really surprised at how far Execute made it this time with how much they went down, but then how much we saw that Bella was pushing. The rest of the team was behind them. They played this one super smart. It came down to that chaos center circle again and whoever had the best positioning.
Yeah, it's a great call out, Riv. I'm glad you're able to watch it from the back end because while we're in the game, it feels like nonstop chaos. I'm just trying to keep up. But yeah, no, it's funny, Dave. You and I were talking a little bit beforehand about the hotspots on this map because we haven't really seen it competitively. Science Center was on the list. It wasn't at the top of my list, but because it's center of zone, look how many people were here. I mean, this was ridiculous.
There was a science fair today.
Yeah, science fair. Yeah, I brought my volcano project here.
So much gameplay starting off there. Again, Grizzlies doing so much work. This was great. The cooked grenade was so good. And so I actually do get there in time. You said that nobody was there. It took them a little bit, but there was still the recovery as they were able to figure out what was going on. The point distribution grows a little bit more for Grizzlies, but as well as Envy here as we still watch a few of the replays going down. This is when we saw that Bella came in real strong with the squad, even losing one. They did not give up.
Yeah, Execute had a fantastic map. I'm not going to lie. A perfect execution here. The IGL, whoever it is on the team, called it out flawlessly. Yes. We had the player advantage. They played the trades. All 4 stayed alive, albeit 2 get knocked. Perfect elimination there with that fancy shotgun that Dave likes to call out. But these are the moments that you look back on and say, hey, there's still an opportunity for somebody else to win this because that was the wipe Envy had on TRG, who's at the top of the leaderboard. Envy, of course, in second. A massive game from them, but they also wiped out the winner to make sure Grizzlies didn't get another victory. And unfortunate. It happens to the best of us, E8. I'm right there with you. I'll say that.
Yep, absolutely. Hey. Do you deny points if you do that? What's like the timer where you're not hit by somebody else, right?
That is a good call out. I was watching PFPL. I think Dave was casting it. They do that often. Like if there's 0 chance of you winning, you don't want to give up the free points. You might as well die to blue or maybe breaking your legs. But Riv, break down game 4 because it was a doozy.
Yeah, let's see these. Envy finally sticking it in there once again. I say finally again, putting it in for the first place. 12 elims on the board and 39 points to bring in for this game 4 ranking. Execute did make it there. They were one of the 4 teams I mentioned, so I'm calling out. I'm right on that one. They get second on this game, so they're 32 points. But how do these all add up, gentlemen? Because we still see, I think Grizzlies are on top. They haven't been matched yet, even without taking first place on that game. They have a significant lead still.
Yeah, I mean, Dave, give me your thoughts on this because Grizzlies at the top, but the gap was closed. I mean, Envy had a massive map to close that gap by a good 28 points or so.
Yeah, massive game for PB, Rolex, Chills. I mean, they're within the running, right, for that first place coming out of this last game. And also, shout out to Execute. Killjoy getting a lot of elims, and then the rest of the squad playing it nice and slow, showing up that late game, trying to get those placement points because the first place is 15. So I definitely understand kind of keeping your eye on that prize. But now we actually got a storyline coming into game number 5 because if the Grizzlies, say they get hunted down by E8 or Insane Team, hot dropped, that opens it up here, fellas.
Yeah.
Dave, I got to stick with you. Looking at Rook, with as much as you can see it, and they're always getting early kills. How do they transition? How do they actually find those 3-4 frags, full team wipe, and then move out into the next one, because it seems like that's all they're getting.
Yeah, listen, Noosa was their map. You know, Noosa was the map for them to really clap back. We saw them popping up in Science Center this last game, but we did see them hot drop Milta on the last Erangel, and it didn't work out in their favor. I believe that was Jacob's crew that took them out. So if I'm looking at Rook Esports, I'm thinking final match of the day. Some of these players might be a little tired, you know. I think I'm going to play the long game, avoid the hot drop, and try to keep 4 up for the late game. You know, get those placement points, that winner chicken dinner.
Are you flipping the table? What is it for you, Goj? How are you approaching this one?
I say full sail, full send. Last map of the day. Are you joking, Riv? I want to hear what PB has to say, because the full sail, full send certainly worked for them.
Heck yeah. All right, we're going to throw down to Chief Pat real quick, get that interview, and we'll see what the players have to say before we get into our next game.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a competition. Team Envy and my man with their second win of the day. I got those Grizzlies. I mean, this is crazy right now. You guys are catching the points. How you feel? Feeling good. I thought you got rid of me, but not so fast. We're hoping to be back one more time. Rolex is getting stressed out over the next game, so I was sent this tribute today to talk to you. So here we go. Listen, you got to give me some more credit. Opting off last game with SMB. I mean, this is nuts. You guys are down big on points. How you going to get obviously needed the win. You got the win. This is it. One final game to make yourselves towards that $10,000 prize. How are you going to take out those Grizzlies? Because you guys need a win, and you need them to play slow. You're going to drop right on them, or what? We might have a little something up our sleeve. We know we have to target the Grizzlies. I'm actually eyeballing more so than the cash prize. I'm eyeballing the Samsung phone. Only the first place finishers get the phones. That's what I'm going for personally. But we know we're going to have to target TRG. We're going to have to mix things up. Maybe hot drop them. So we're trying to watch the stream back and run a little bit and see if we can get an intel that we can use in this game fine. Because while we feel good about getting second at this point, there's a long way to go to catch in the first place. So we're going to drop this. You're that you've been here for a long time. For the new opponents, this may be the first win that you know how to keep it cooler than those S23 vapor chambers, but how are you installing that in your team? How are you rallying the same page? Or are they going to drop your ship? So look pretty. I'm here to confidence high. Let these boys know that we got this. Ain't no sweat. Have all the others. They're going to say full common collective. We're going to get that back. Get that chicken dinner. Hopefully bring it all home. We got all out of this stuff. The non-top here, I love that. Okay, this is question. We're going to talk about the celebration. Not to win, but if you guys take home this done, what does the celebration look like? You're drinking out of a trophy, you're hip parade. What's going on? It's definitely not the hip parade. We're not going back on. No hip parade. No hip parade. That's not on top. So, that could be fun. It's just concept. You know what I'm saying? So, no hip parade. The rest is on top. So, I don't know. We'll leave it ambiguous. I'm going to go talk to the team about that. But first, we're actually in order to talk about celebrating. We're going to get locked in power. If you want to make it for us, rules for team in number 5, 18 points to lead. Let's take that down. Let's throw that
Chief Pat, Powerbank, thank you so much. Once again, great insight to see how the team's vibing, how they're doing. Honestly, Powerbank and the squad seem like they're having a lot of fun. It seems like we might get to hear from Rolex next, or they assume so. Dave.
Hip hip hooray! That's what we're looking for here. I love how they're already planning for the celebration. You know, that right there is confidence here, Riv.
Yeah, it really is. And that's what you got to bring into the last game. Everybody's going to be probably balls to the wall here. It's going to be chaos as we come out on Erangel. I wonder if everybody just looks at the person next to him on the plane and just jumps with him. Just honestly jumps with them, because this is going to have to be mayhem. You can't just sit around in a bush and hope to get the frags. You're going to have to go to the gameplay.
Yeah,
right,
no, it's a great call out, Riv, because you got to think about how much money we're playing for right now. This is one map left, and it could theoretically be a $5,000 map for Team Envy and PB, right? Of course, he's looking for those phones as well, those S23 Ultras, but we're also talking about an extra $5K if they win this map, so there's a lot on the line, Riv.
That's true. It's a $20,000 prize pool to be split up. That first place taking home 10 feels good. That's not even like a split down the middle. It's 4 people to divide that amongst, right? That's even more. So, and yeah, like you said, the phones, the S23 Ultras, the Galaxy Tabs as well, the SA Pluses for second place, and even the third and the fourth, you're getting Buds 2 Pros. And if you didn't get any of those places, you're still taking home the Snapdragon Elite Gaming Chair. All 32 finalists that are competing today, the 16 content creators and 16 qualified participants, will be taking this home from the Samsung Galaxy Battles. Not taking it home. It'll probably be a home for them because you can't fly with chairs that often.
Sure.
I mean, could be a bring your own chair flight. Who knows? But this next one will definitely be a bring your own chair flight. We're going to have to see who's dropping where, hot drops or not. I'm excited to see who goes hard. And if we actually see Rizzle and Rizzly Squad and Rook kind of sit back and listen for where the fighting might be and then approach it.
Yeah.
What do you think, Dave?
I mean, we heard
Dave?
PB, Rolex. What do I think, Coach? What do I think? I'm looking for another hot drop, honestly, because the last Aaron goal we saw Milta was pretty stacked amongst like 4 different teams. I think it being the last games of every single tournament you ever play in, it's always kind of a clown fiesta. You know, the players are just ready to just let it rip. So yeah, they're going to bring it out. So that's my fear though. You got teams like the Grizzlies really trying hard here, really trying to get that phone, that cash money. Meanwhile, a couple teams at the bottom looking for that content, looking for that clown fiesta. So that's like a recipe for disaster in my opinion.
Easy. Go with what you take.
I couldn't agree more, Dave. You're the master analyst, my friend. That is exactly what I am worried about as well, especially for the teams at the top. Somebody is not here to play for the win. They're here to play spoiler. That's the name of the game. And in all reality, it's probably going to be E8. I love the guys to death. Huskers, a good friend. Win Sanity as well. I think Win is going to go, all right, look, we've been playing it smart. We've been playing it slow. And they have been. Like, they've been near the top of the leaderboard in terms of placement almost every single time. They're just not finding elims. Win's got to throw some content on the board. Here's how I wiped 6 squads in a PUBG Mobile Samsung tournament. I mean, we got to go for something when we're down at the bottom of the leaderboard.
Yeah, it seems like it. You need to go home with something you can fall asleep knowing I succeeded in that. Because right now you're getting coffee poured on your head. Envy's coming through with Rolexes just blinging out on you. These guys are they already have takedown kills in cars. Grizzlies are literally one of the most strategic that you're fighting against. So I don't think you go in with a plan if you're one of the bottom teams. That's where you gain your advantage. If they don't know what you're doing, it's the age-old, right? Exactly. So we'll have to see if they can actually deploy that within the game. You can see everybody playing on their Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultras with that fastest Snapdragon processor available, the 200 megapixel camera on the back. See, he was covering one of them, but you still have 2 more. They're everywhere. You have awesome video stabilization for content creation. We see Lily Pichu on the screen right now. We know that's what she does for a living. So right after this, probably go making content with the phone. Easy peasy. The 500 milliamp battery keeping you live all day long, so you don't have to worry about the battery. And we don't really have to worry about dropping into the next map, gentlemen, because I think we're pretty close to being in.
Okay, well, Dave, it's time. The last map of the day, and it's Erangel at 32, and we got a nice southern line here with the plane. Look, I gotta give a shout out to Lily Pichu, by the way, because Lily came in here, obviously an incredible content creator, not necessarily mobile forward, albeit she's done some mobile in the past. She's been showing up, and Team Execute, they made a massive jump overall. They went from 5th all the way up to 3rd place with a huge last map. I mean, they're within striking distance of 2nd place should things totally break apart for Team Envy.
Exactly. Show up and po up, as some would say. And looks like Nova are going to have 2 teams. Looks like 2 teams going to be at least dropping Nova here early on. And one of them being PB Squad, who we heard on that interview. They're looking for the dub, man. They're looking for the win. PB's looking for that new fresh phone. So I'm going to have my eyes down there in the south because this is do or die right now. This is do or die for PB and crew, because if they get taken out here, hey, that phone dream, it's done.
Yeah, and I saw the map, and this will be Overhaul versus Team Envy down here in Nova. I saw the map, and of course, my strategic gentleman, E8, down at the bottom of the leaderboard, they're also completely by themselves over on the northeastern, I believe, or northwestern, rather, side of the map, from what I could tell, the very end of that plane line. So they're going to kind of be free and clear to set up as they usually do, as these two teams loot up next to each other. I'll be curious to see if they decide to engage early or maybe play the slower game. Dave, as we think back to Erangel before, this is honestly one of the weirdest and hardest shifts, going from Noosa into Erangel. Totally opposite, and also zero revive mechanic. Like, you really do have to completely shift the way you think about this map.
Exactly. One game, you're just dropping hot. You're trying to pop off, trying to get as many elims on the board as possible, because you know if you get taken on yourself, you'll come right back. You know what I'm saying? So that mindset from that last game, not only that, Noosa is just, it's wild. You know, it is wild. The adrenaline. So you kind of need to pump the brakes here just a little bit, because Erangel, especially with the amount of players we have, a little more slower, a lot more room, a lot more terrain to work with here. So hopefully some of these players were able to kind of pump the brakes a little bit and tone down the adrenaline as it ramps up here in the final map of the evening. So real quick, a little vibe check in the chat. I saw someone mention that Coffee is super excited to get that chair because he was streaming and his last chair broke. So shout out to Coffee right there, getting that chair. And people are piling it on in. We see E-Loves in the chat, Dab's Mama's in the chat, and Brazen Rover. So thanks everybody for tuning on in. Hit that like button. This is game number 5, the last game of the Galaxy Battles PUBG Mobile Showdown.
Heck yeah, great call out. We love our chatters all across our multiple live stream locations. Definitely let us know who you're rooting for. We'd love to shout you out as well for watching at home, and also who you think's going to win this one, because we got a lot of setup. Two teams about to potentially get into an encounter here outside of Nova, but I'd love to hear who you think's going to take it. There's an opportunity here for maybe Ahmad to take some long shots.
Cameraman's getting wild. You see his angles? Getting wild. Feeling good. Game number 5. Right? Yeah, game number 5. We're catching them angles out here. So love to see it. And look at PB. M249 in hand. M249 in hand. Look at that off angle. PB's angle could be massive if the team times it correctly here.
Yeah, look, this is a Rolex call out. We've heard it now twice from PB, how Rolex is calling all the shots, honestly, as he should, and it's working out well for the squad. I think PB's job here is to kind of play information gatherer. He's the recon man. If he can grab a pick, fantastic. That'll open up the other half of his team or more to push him from the other angle. But PB looks for one. I'm not sure he got the information or not. If he's not careful, Addy might catch him unaware, but play it slow. I think they've got the right mentality.
Yeah.
I think Rolex might have caught a glimpse of somebody. Maybe it was Omega inside this building too, and is backing off a little bit and probably telling PB to do the same.
Yeah, 75 bullets in the M249 with the red dot too. I mean, that is one heck of a weapon to have, especially early game. I am concerned with Addy's position though, but I think you nailed it on the head. Rolex spotting something out over there, calling the team back to regroup, reposition, maybe try to spot out the other enemies, before, well, it looks like a trap, honestly. Addy's position looks like it's somewhat of a trap. Hawk's Nest with the oversight, same thing with Omega. So I love the call from Rolex to kind of pull back the troops, come up with a better game plan here, because they do recognize how much is on the line here, as this is the final map of the evening.
Yeah, it's a great call out. I think it's fun to talk about. Hawk's Nest in the interview is talking about Overhaul just trying to get some legs underneath them, and they would love to take out the second place team. And honestly, TRG would love to see that as well. If you see that in the kill feed and your TRG, kind of gives you free reign to start playing pretty aggressive. And I think they'll probably wait on that. If there's a chance that they see something in the kill feed that denotes a bit of information on their main competition, whether they're doing well or not, it'll help them in their decision making. And I think if I'm TRG, I'm playing very, very slow. Mm-hmm. If I'm TRG, I have to get some points on the board, but I don't have to get a lot. I need those placement points, Dave. So I think they might slow their roll, and Envy's going to be the one that's going to have to push the equation.
Yeah, just a quick little TRG update. They're all the way up there in the north in Yesnaya by themselves. Nobody near them. Huge buffer zone between them and everybody else. Yesnaya is in the northern part of circle number 1. So they're probably just looting every single building, looking in every single cranny, every closet, just getting the most optimal loadout that they want here in the last and final map of the night.
I love the shipping containers combat, but no shots have been fired yet. Here's a look at the map we were talking about. E8 has actually swung down further south than I saw them land. They landed up closer towards Gatka, I believe, or at least flew that direction. Didn't see anybody and came down further south. Still alone. You can see Bella Fox's squad execute. One of the other teams to
safe.
watch.
Yeah, so safe down there in Primorsk. I mean,
yeah.
Talk about playing it so safe in this last match. I love to see it because to me that means they got their head in the game and they're looking to win here. So we'll get back to that.
I mean, hey, a well-placed grenade. If you get a knock on Powerbang, obviously Omega knows that they're there. Oh, okay.
Close.
All right.
Close.
I respect it.
Close.
Make him think twice. Powerbang shifts to the outside of the building.
Yeah, BB's like, I think they see me. I think I'm spotted here, boys.
That's great.
Yeah,
Omega.
back.
Yeah, definitely. I would too. Omega and Addy got second overall in day 2, by the way, the qualifiers, 97 points overall. Addy gets better of Rolex off screen. Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
This could smell huge trouble.
Another.
Envy.
Trying to dip in the water, though. An
Irish.
interesting play. I know they only had 6 bullets right there. That might have been the deciding factor, but Addy snaking up from behind. A massive dent right there in Envy.
If I'm Overhaul, I have to push. I can't let them get revives on this. You're down in numbers. You're down on the leaderboard. This is a huge moment. I think Ahmad is the one that should push up if they have any ammo. He's able to do that. Omega's going to also pinch in. This is the perfect opportunity to take Envy out and completely ruin their chances of potentially even getting second. Could open the door for execute. Powerbang trying to play cover or potentially a res. Ahmad's down.
Going for the pickup.
Chills grabs Omega. Overhaul in trouble. It's just Hawk's Nest.
Oh!
Out of nowhere. And this is what we were saying. They just didn't move fast enough. All these pickups should be coming in shortly. And his team's getting cleaned up. Hawk's Nest is going to have to solo.
Yeah. But the SKS/ump combo as well.
Oh my
PB
goodness.
did get the pickup. Rolex healing up just a little bit over there. And, well, this looks like Envy. They should be able to get the full reset. Meanwhile, Hawk's Nest, last one alive. And look at this. PB already tossing grenades in that direction. Kind of alerting to me that they might have an indication on where Hawk's Nest might be.
And Hawk's Nest is getting out of dodge.
Yeah.
I respect it. You won some points. You're going to be by yourself. You're going to have to basically rat out, let your teammate go down. As a missed opportunity, I like the push. They grabbed Rolex early, and they just couldn't follow up on it. They didn't have the angles. They probably didn't have the information about where each of the players were. And as such, they kind of were too slow on the push, which meant, hey, they were able to get everybody back up. You let Rolex get back up, it's basically GG's there.
Yeah, I mean, it just comes down to like a timing issue. Addy had a huge opportunity. The double knock, the surprise from behind, right? Which was massive. But the timing was off because we saw the other squad mates. They're just not there in time to capitalize, and make that collapse happen in time. So shout out to them. They're not done yet. So Hawk's Nest might be able to kind of snake it out, get some placement points. But over here, a little drive-by action, Coach.
I respect it. Vehicle on vehicle gameplay, but Metalcore laying down some pressing fire, or maybe more than that, to try to help out. His teammate is able to do just that. Forces both of those two players in our supercar to drive off and gain a bit of cover. Jacob certainly wouldn't like to go down here in the last map. Wants to showcase more about what the boat gang can do.
Boat gang. A little bit of water in circle number 2. I don't think they're going to use that water, but respect. And looks like a lot of players, a lot of teams gonna be looking to center up here in circle number 2. Noise already dead center, so I'm gonna have my eye on Noise, especially after the last match. They got taken out really early on, and it's kind of like the kryptonite, right, for Team Chaos. Once when Noise is taken out, Noise has been such an influential player for that team, that entry level fragger. That once when Noise is gone, the rest of the team has a little bit of trouble. And remember, it goes back to just the team comps in general, different languages. So they got a lot of cards stacked against them. And then when you lose your top fragger on the squad, it hurts even more. So honestly, if they could just keep Noise alive, maybe play around Noise here this game, I can definitely see them climbing up these leaderboards.
I totally agree. It's a great point. I always say in sports, esports or otherwise, it doesn't matter. If you're playing from your heels and your heels alone, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be put either on your butt or crossed over because without noise, they've just been trying to play a defensive play style. Noise is that entry fragger, like you mentioned. Definitely a great shout. We'll keep an eye out for that team playing center of zone. But this is the team that I called out, of course. Execute did a fantastic job in the last map to move up the leaderboard, currently in 3rd overall with, I believe, around 70 points, exactly 70 points. So they'd love a great map here. Technically, the only team with any points on the leaderboard thus far is Envy, but still very early. Reminder, this is Erangel. If you missed the last map and you're saying, where's all the action? Folks, we got 32 players on Erangel. They're looting up. Don't worry. You'll see it shortly, and we needed a bit of a reprieve after the Noosa, but...
Look at this.
Yeah, Coffee.
Oh, Coffee. Take the glider. No, not the police car. The glider? I mean, we're talking about content. Coffee. Oh, man.
Dave, here's the thing, man.
No.
They're in the lead for $10,000 in tonight's 23s. I mean, content this, content that. Coffee saying, I want the bag.
Yeah, I don't know. Glider OP, man. Hey, we'll see, though. We'll see what happens as everybody now rotating. Next circle did pop. It is going to favor the southern part of Rozhawk and all of Pachinki, so there's a lot of real estate, a lot of hard cover in play here. A majority of the squads, they're outside on that eastern side of that last circle, so they're all in vehicles, all on that rotate here. Look at that new position. But remember, look at that. All the way down there. PB, Rolex. Yeah, they got the furthest amount of terrain to travel here and hopefully not get shut out their vehicles in the process.
Man, I would have loved to see Hawksnest get some 1v4 action holding the choke point on the bridge as they drive across it. I would love to see that standoff, but I don't think Hawks is going to risk it for the biscuit. So it should be a free and clear rotate in, whereas otherwise it probably wouldn't be if there was more teams around. Coffee's team in a pretty good spot. They're going to elect to go towards school, which makes sense. It's a great POI to hold center of zone for the most part. Probably another team on the outskirts, so and be able to lock down the POI, loot up wherever they can, find more meds should they need it, and then hold down and wait. You can see Rook off in the distance as well. Probably the closest team, and by distance, really not all that far away.
Love the map awareness, too, right now from TRG. You see them parking those vehicles inside of the school to make sure that those tires are safe, you know, keep that utility good to go, just in case the next circle doesn't favor school. I mean, that's just experience, you know? A little tip for you there, Coach.
I love that. I need every Mustache Dave tip I can get. This is where Hawksnest, I wish you were sitting right here and could have just annihilated this whole team as they have elected to stockpile all up into one vehicle. Well, probably because they have to, because they are deep inside the mother lode that is blue, and they're hitting hay bales or otherwise. A little bit of trouble. I think most will make it through. If they're not careful, though, they might lose one.
You're so right, though. If Hawksnest would have just waited a little longer, Hawksnest was just there. Just imagine just spraying a clip right here, taking out Envy. That would have been something else. But it looks like Envy might actually take out themselves. There's a rock.
No,
Envy might take out themselves here, Coach.
Chills has had their driver's license revoked, folks.
Yes.
Enough meds to stay alive. Oh, no, they're going to give it back to him. They trust in the system. They trust their team.
Okay.
Carbang able to heal up in the back. We got to keep moving. Hit a couple different obstacles, but...
It happens.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay. Dab Nation, show up for your boy. Sniping from distance. Won't be able to clean it up, though. But Dave, I like this from Dab. He's ready.
Now, I remember saying the one-tap dirt nap, I think, in game number 2, but that right there, Coach, that is the one-tap dirt nap from Dab plays. I mean, that's it. You know, the headshot, boom, immediately take him down. So I believe that's going to be Insane team across the way, right? Jacob Gaming, T-Max. Insane team. They need some points here in this final game, and looks like the next zone did pop, so that's why we don't see the squad TRG making that push after that knock, because they're prioritizing the circles, and they're playing for that late game, and they're looking for a new spot in the zone so they can just gatekeep Jacob's crew. Oh, a lot of car troubles too this game, by the way.
I think it's excitement, right? They're on the brink of being able to do something crazy. Our top 2 teams aren't able to drive too well today, but They've been doing a very good job of finding elimination.
True.
So you give them the credit where they can take it, and then we got to give them a little bit of jab here and there, because otherwise we'd just be praising them the whole time, and that's no fun.
Yeah, we saw that, Debs. But it's okay. So next circle did go up. Honestly, the team that is kind of in the best position, in my opinion, and kind of looking at leaderboards, has to be Team Execute. They made a massive come up last game. They have Pachinki all to themselves. They're looking good in the South, but we'll get back to that because TRG, the team in first place, very risky rotate here, and they know that. Look at Rizatron immediately making that U-turn like, no way. No way, sir. I'm not going up the hill. The spidey senses right there. We'll see what ends up happening. TRG kind of scattered right now, just looking for a safe way into this new circle.
Yeah, Chaos finding Pickle in the elimination feed. Noise finding Pickle. So an answer back. Noise, of course, on the side of Envy. So Envy seemingly found some confrontation. E8, my sleeper pick that wasn't, well, they kind of stayed sleepy, I suppose, down at the bottom of the leaderboard, but an opportunity to ruin some people's days. Noise continuing to just eat up that elimination feed and is taking down a team nearly single-handedly. That's Waffle Squad. Rook in trouble, but a fantastically timed. Oh no!
Coffee!
That's TRG! This is a third party coming up from behind. Coffee with the God nade.
Wow, Noise down. 2 down on that squad. Metalcore right now making the full-on push, trying to save what they can, trying to keep Coffee at bay with the mollies, with the grenades. And yeah, Coffee recognizing, okay, I gotta slow it down just a little bit. That last grenade touching Coffee just a little bit. But TRG, man, they're popping off here. They're looking for some elims. Looks like Dabs did get knocked down the back line, so Coffee gonna prioritize that pickup. But this hill, this is what we call Potato Hill right here, Goj. It is, it's a mess.
Yeah, the elevation is going to be your friend. Obviously, high ground's nice, can provide a bit of cover. Rook going to try to pick up the semblance of a team that they have left. That'll be 2. Rizatron finding Metalcore in the process, though. TRG on the offensive yet again. They're the top dogs for a reason. They're showcasing it. Catching up to Envy in the total point tally here shortly, at least in this map, but with a 20-some-odd point lead. Time is
a 2-2 split too from TRG.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Now they're both going to be collapsing from both sides. The team comes on point right now for TRG. Got him. Got him.
Almost cleans up Dab, but they're doing a fantastic job. 2-2 split, but look at these vehicles. Watch out. We got a 4 squadron rolling in. Rizatron takes down Noise. It's a huge take.
What?
Noise a part of Envy. Coffee down. Dab in trouble. Dab goes down. Quatch and Rizatron last 2 alive for TRG. It's Envy versus TRG. An early fight outside the edge of circle. Dave, Quatch is down. TRG in trouble. Envy also a little bit in trouble, but with the slight advantage. Chills can come in, ruin TRG's day. It is an open field. Chills with the win. Team Envy takes out TRG. Dave, 16 points for TRG. That's going to help. But now we've got 34 some odd points that Envy's going to have to surmount, and they've already done so with 14. They need about 20 from here on out, not including their placement points, which aren't even tallied. That is a massive roll up. Take out the leaders, and let's roll to our victory. Holy.
That is massive. I mean, they knew who was over there. They saw the kill feeds for a brief moment, and not even giving TRG time to heal up after that last engagement, right? That was perfectly executed. And not only that, they got the squad wipe, and instead of waiting around, looting, they just popped in their vehicles, instantly sent it, reposition now within the zone. They're looking for the win here, man. And I think it's there. The gates are open here, Coach. TRG done. They had 16 points. We saw Coffee, too, from the player cam. Just putting their hand in their face like, man, can't believe that happened. But they do have a nice point lead. So it's going to be close, man.
Yeah, it's going to be very close. This is going to be a battle against, not even the clock, really, battle against the mathematicians out there. See how close it really will be at the end of the day. But hey, E8 could potentially play spoiler and help out Coffee and Co. I wonder if Coffee's sliding him a $20 bill while he's watching, because this is a must kind of win situation for E8 versus Envy if Envy decides to push it. And that's exactly what's happening off screen. You see Speed taking out Powerbang. This is the fight I was talking about. E8's been sitting in these buildings since the beginning of the map, like they've done pretty much every single other map.
Oof. I mean, you call it though. E8 looking for that last game, that comeback game, that winner weren't chicken dinner. I wiped 6 squads game, So they're playing nice and slow. They're going to be right there on the edge. And honestly, they're in a good position to take out Team Envy. I mean, Envy have that little trench, but their vehicle, I believe, is already smoking. If not smoking, really hurt. And look at that PB, no heals.
Nothing. There's the
no heals. So E8 have, in my opinion, Envy dead to rights right now.
Yeah, and TRG can thank Hawks Nest and Co. for the depletion of mats and forcing them on the edge. But you're right. I think it was Winsandy with a little bit of a dink and then a cleanup from Speed was able to knock PB. PB playing a bit of bait, maybe. Killjoy's finding a couple in the kill feed, which is huge because Killjoy is a part of that, I believe, Execute squad that is on the brink of winning this thing. Looks like some trading of mats here, Dave. So
no helmet. Yeah, I mean, they are just low. Yeah, they are just low.
PB's gonna be bait. PB's gonna be bait if they get into another fight, and they're gonna leave E8 to their own devices on Edge of Zone for sure.
I'm surprised E8 aren't just popping in those vehicles and just full sending it, trying to get the initial run over. Honestly, they knew Enemy were there. That circle did pop.
I don't know why E8 hasn't noticed that they drove away already. They're smoking up their cross, and sure, there's some people probably looking at them from distance, but it's actually pretty free, and they might be thinking they're rolling up on Envy when Envy left a while ago. But Killjoy with a crazy track on Rolex. Or Rolex is finding one. Rolex just found T-Mags, but Killjoy with the DP from distance, Dave. That was nuts.
The DP from down under. T-Mags on the backseat of that buggy getting taken out right there. That's going to be their team. That's going to be insane team taken out here. As now we got 4 more teams to go. Look at this, though. Execute still alive. 4 strong. It's going to be a massive game for them here to climb up the leaderboards and, up their cash prize and their devices here after this map. But I'm worried about Envy, Coach. I am worried because Envy were hot on the trail of TRG, if I'm not mistaken, coming into this game.
Yeah, Killjoy finding Jacob was huge. It opened up the lane for them to rotate in full 4 strong. Of course, Envy with a massive lead here with 20 total points and 10 limbs. Winsanity going to have to be the one playing spoiler for his team, trying to help out. Probably looking just for a fun couple snipes to add to the timeline later. Would like to find it on the likes of somebody like Rolex, but Rolex might know he's out there.
Oh, no.
Good luck, Win. Goes for the rotate. Dive, duck. All the G's and dodgeball. And Dave, he's able to stay alive somehow. We'll make it to this hay bale.
Oh, still with the sniper, too.
The story is Envy versus Execute, Dave, because this is 2nd place versus 3rd place, both trying to overtake first.
Yeah.
This is a lot of money on the line.
A lot of money on the line. Rolex, though, Rolex's attention is just tunneled right now on Winsanity, though. So that could be a good opportunity for Execute to take advantage and take out the duo right across the way. I believe Killjoy recognizes there might be some enemies over there. I'm not sure the utility is looking like when it comes to mollies, when it comes to grenades. But 10 elims right now on Envy. It looks like they did share that loot like we saw. Everybody back up, full health, ready to go. But I'm really looking at Rolex's position, though, because if Winsanity knocks Rolex, that might be the opening for Execute to get this dub here in this final game.
Yeah, this is huge. To set the scene a little bit, it's a 34-point deficit that Envy's trying to surmount. They're at 20 currently, and they're going to gain some placement points here just for even if they get 3rd somehow. So they've basically done it. At this point, all they need is maybe an elimination or 2 if my master is correct, if not just taking 2nd. They need to take out Win. They need the placement points. They get 12, I believe, for 2nd place.
Yeah.
And that should put them just over the margin or very, very close to it. So they don't even have to win, just given the amount of eliminations they've had thus far.
Look at the focus right there from the player cam. So focused. Win now in the blue. Gonna be looking to play spoiler. Got the heal up. Rolex probably still gonna be looking in this direction, but it doesn't matter. Chills down. Yeah, Killjoy is popping off, and it looks like Envy blocking some sight lines to maybe close this gap right ahead of them. But I am so worried right now. Winsanity can play spoiler. Oh, Rolex gonna spot him out.
Knows.
Rolex taking him down. Okay, there goes that. 2 teams to go here.
I think they have tied. Right now, Envy has 22. If they get second, that's 34. That's exactly what they need to tie.
Oh, no.
Comfy Lily in
Oh,
trouble
no.
and gets knocked. Execute has one knocked. With Lily, Envy,
Rolex
one
pushing.
knocked as well.
Rolex
Elise takes
pushing.
one. Envy's involved. They're getting in charge. They take down Elise. This is going to be so close here, Dave.
Oh,
All they
and
have to
look at
do
this.
is...
With dump.
They did it, I think. With the elimination, they might have taken the lead, but they would love a third win. Dave, look at this.
Uh-oh,
Killjoy.
not done though.
Killjoy's involved. Shotgun, whatever you have, take it. Oh my gosh. Envy with the victory. Unbelievable performance. A massive heads-up play from Rolex to take down win, netted them the victory, and yet they closed it out in flying colors with a victory in map 5. That's 3 out of 5 wins and a massive comeback. TRG is toppled, Dave. That was insane.
I think they're doing math too. Rolex is like, was that enough points? Was that enough elims? Is that enough? Is that... What a game though, and Killjoy to be the last one alive as well for Execute really trying to like stake their claim in the dirt at the final zone there with the double barrel shotgun, by the way. OP. But at the end of the day, Envy, GG's.
Yeah, Envy solidifying a lot there. If it came to tiebreakers, it would be most first place finishes and then elimination. So Envy would have still been like those first place finishes. Remember, like, who came to play today? Oh my word. But yeah, I think Execute was slowly someone we had to pay attention to, right? We saw this team, we're like, okay, yeah, they're doing all right. Lily Pichu in the squad and Bella Fox. Okay, oh wait, now they're third, now they're fifth, now they're third, and that was somebody we had to keep an eye on. Surprising in this game though, Goj, it was real quiet on the Western front to start things off.
No, it was. And honestly, I thought that E8 potentially could pull something out, but it was Execute that had a great spot over there on the Western front. They were able to hang out for a very long time. And then on the Eastern front, Nova, that early encounter, that set up Envy well. It put TRG a little bit on their heels because the points were put up early from Envy saying, hey, we're here. We're going to start throwing down. You guys better get involved. And then because they took out 3 out of 4, Riv, I mean, Hawksnest couldn't do anything about it. And then Envy had a clear rotation out of Nova, where in all reality, they should have been choke held and really shouldn't have made it out with how long they spent in the blue.
Wow.
That's right. Dave,
Yeah.
Can you go into depth a little bit about the fatigue we may have seen players, hit in this game 5? Some of the driving, some of the choices.
Driving.
In this
Bringing
one.
up the driving. Yeah, definitely some fatigue here. And we kind of saw right there from maybe the team comps from Overhaul. They had Envy dead to rights, but the timing was just off. The comms were just a little off, and Envy just pulling ahead right there. And I gotta say, the game-winning play, I don't know what the leaderboard's looking like right now, by the way, but the game-winning play for me from Envy was when they recognized that TRG were in this fight, and they just immediately sent it, pulled up from behind, needed it, and took them out. And not only that, the thing that interested me is that they didn't loot those crates. They didn't stick around as much because the next zone pop, they immediately got the wipe, got the vehicles, and just repositioned. Like that right there is some good IGLing in my opinion.
And they did it. I hope we get to hear from Rolex because they did it more than once. The retaliation they had on Overhaul's push in the beginning of the game where we're like, wait, Powerbank's completely getting pushed by 3 here, and they turn it around. And somehow 4 Envy members are up, and Overhaul's just watching Hawks run around alone. It was absurd. It was absurd. I loved it. Here are the rankings for that game 5. You see Execute continues to jump up the scoreboard, but nobody's touching Envy on this one. And Envy made sure, Dave, to take down the Risley Grizzlies this game.
Yes, sir. Risley Grizzlies, 60 limbs with a total of 16 points. I am not sure that's going to be enough, but Riv, you made a great point. Like we saw last game Execute, they got a lot of placement points and a lot of elim points. This last game, Execute have just been ramping it up all night long. Just kind of that sleeper team, just slowly crawling up the leaderboards underneath the radar. And I'm curious to see where they finished because when we're talking about comeback stories, they definitely made a comeback here tonight as well.
Coach, what are you thinking? Talk to me about who you thought played well. Were you thinking was going to play well? Maybe fell behind a little bit, and what you expected today?
Look, I shouted out PB, Rolex, and Co. Rolex,
You did.
God,
You did.
IGL. I mean, they've won. I did the math. They got it, folks.
They've done it.
That's all I'm saying. Now I might be wrong, and sometimes my math is trash, but they had a flawless execution at the very end. Not only to roll up, like you said, on TRG and eliminate their competition, but also win the entire map. Give me a shout out to Rolex as the IGL to stay on win to make sure they got second place because he knew they needed those placement points. Like, even that small detail could have been enough to put them over. So, Riv, I'll hold off on the final announcement until it's on the screen, but I got to shout out Rolex. They did an incredible job.
I do believe we know. Is that what I heard from production? We know. Are we ready? Let's announce the winning team. The winning team for your Samsung Galaxy battles round after round is going to be Envy as they find themselves taking 3 maps. Grizzly tried to do what they could, but it's all about power bang, chills, even in his driving mode. Rolex and Yaxar here. What a squad. They worked together so well. They even allowed Chills to keep the keys, but it was all the calls from Rolex, as we heard from Power Bang and the rest of the squad, to bring it home. Overall scoreboard is showing that the Grizzlies getting taken down in that last moment. Was basically it, because right at the end of the game, you're forced to then eliminate the other squads. You're not going to get third-partied as most. So Envy had to do it there.
Yeah, that was an 11-point difference between Envy and the Grizzlies. Execute did really, like you guys talked about, climb out of a kind of a slower start into 90 points for third, which is massive. Rook was always there, just not quite able to put it away at fourth overall.
So those strong to start.
Yeah, those are the 4 teams that will be walking away surprising. Of course, everybody will grab those Snapdragon chairs, but the difference maker was, of course, grabbing first place, but it was the amount of elims. 53 elims from Team Envy because of Rolex's IGLing and, of course, Chill's slay out potential. We got to give a shout out to our qualifier players across the board. There were a lot of them. Noise, Chills, the first 2 that come to mind, but Chills in particular and Envy.
Yeah, seeing Omega as well from Overhaul had some pretty good games. We did see Hawk was by himself before. I'm looking through the list. Rizatron actually had some big plays coming up for when Grizzly was in a tight spot in those moments. So it was really cool to see everybody kind of come out of the woodwork a little bit if they were nervous, or being able to play in person for the first time did seem to kind of go away after a while. Mustache Dave, if you had a favorite, any game of the 5, what are you remembering? What do you love? Was it Coffee's first jump, that litmus test that Goj said on the first map? Are we looking at Power Bang and the team's power slides and their cars? Where to hit you?
I'm looking forward to if they convince Power Bang to do the hip hip hooray. Honestly, we had the interview. I think Rolex is gonna have the opportunity to maybe convince them. Because I want to see what that looks like.
It could still happen.
It could still, exactly. I want to see what that happened here.
It's going to get better, everyone.
But all jokes aside, like, shout out to all the players. You guys both touched on, and the players that qualified as well. And they got flown out here. They had the opportunity to play at this awesome venue with the top creators, top creators in PUBG Mobile. Like, I can only imagine the experience here, guys.
Absolutely. The vibes seem amazing there. As we're setting up for the winners interview, Goj, what do you got for me? What was your highlight moment?
I think I'm so blown away by Rolex's IGLing that my highlight moment was the very end of that last map. All the pressure's on, everything's at stake, the onus of responsibility really on Rolex to make the calls throughout the entirety of the tournament. We heard it from PB twice, and the calls were immaculate. Look, the guy played pro 2018, 2019 with Space Station. Those pro vibes were back. It paid off. Very well done by that squad.
All right, it is time now to throw it down to Chief Pat in Texas for our championship interview. Pat, take it away.
From the last team to qualify for the event to your Galaxy Battle Champions, Team Envy, what a comeback. First, before we talk about the ultimate trophy, I want to go and Pat. I got a phone for you. I got a phone for you. I got a phone for you. Let's go. Congrats. Yeah, what a win. Thank you, Samsung. Thank you, PUBG Mobile. I'm excited for this one. I mean, how did you guys do? I'm going to be honest. I didn't think I would see you so much today. I'd love to see the rest of the team. Rolex. I mean, how did you guys play up? PB's been saying you're the strategic master. You guys run together in game 5. What happened? Yeah, man, I was out yelling. What's the come on? I'm so happy right now. I mean, this has been great. You guys, last team to qualify, these two to make it out to the Galaxy Battles. And then I know game one didn't start so hot. Everyone was a little bit worried, but then win after win, kept matching TRT. And then to take this one, you guys had a crazy battle with them as that circle was closing in, right? Like, how do you guys know that 1v1? We had a feeling that we knew it was them on the top of that hill. And we knew they were there. The problem was is we barely made it out the first couple of circles. We were in the blue zone. We didn't have much. We didn't have much. We had no gear. We were like, whoever's on top of that hill, we're going to come for your gear. Unfortunately, we didn't have enough time to move them. So we hopped back in the vehicle, headed into zone, and we just tried to make do with the best we could. I mean, that fight was crazy. Not only did you guys have to win, you had to take down the top dogs and not let them get those crazy points. I know the audience is going crazy. After game 3, we were really worried that, Coffee and TRT were just going to absolutely win this one. You guys were crazy. You, TV, and I all came there doing the math to see what it took to get that done. I mean, 18 points. Even when we got our Rolex had the math figured out, we're like, okay, we got to be active here. We got to fight early. That's why we dropped Nova over early on. We had a quad there. Nice times. They came from some tables we didn't expect to go on, and we were able to start out with a 3-kill kind of momentum boost out of Nova, and then rotate it out, and started out good for there. I want to give a huge shout out to Chiro and Asa, the players that made it through. You guys were sort of doing this huge help for some people that spend a little too much time on the dance and stuff. I just want to give them a big shout out. Oh, 100%. You guys are absolutely stacking up the entire time. Well, tell me about the game plan. Obviously, you as IGL, playing strategies together, and meeting obviously your teammates for the very first time here today. What was the game plan? How do you guys execute? And how do you pull it off in game 5? I mean, in the beginning, I was thinking passively. At first, we realized the one that was like, that's my mind. I was so right now. That's the best. I don't want to get all the high specifications. We ran a bit on this angle, just with that. That's next level to those viewers. Let's not get a celebration. First of all, we got a good parade with the community. That's what I'll catch on. But what's going on? How we celebrate not only campaign pass, brand new S23. I mean, what's the we got some gaming to do. We also got some pizza showing up here, so we'll hit that. Maybe see what Dallas has to offer. Sweet city, by the way. But I will say, I was really excited. Shout out to Dallas and Austin and team as well. The recent Christians, they were tough. I didn't know we could catch them after 3. We really had to put the penalty down. Oh, this is what you ask for. Especially a game like this where you have 5 games. I think you get out of hand in the last game. I'm just so excited that they got literally into the wire with you guys even just fighting off those last teams with Wayne and the rest of the teams in the back was absolutely nice. So, what a fun event. This is the last insane. Can we do this again? We'll come back once upon a love it. Well, it sounds fantastic. This is so much fun to do. States on Galaxy to get Team Envy, your champions, incredible story. Let's go back to this one more time. And let's go. Let's get it.
Hip hip hoorays, za, S23 Ultras. What more could you ask for, gentlemen? Absolutely crazy. And Goji, we were talking off chat a little bit. Those two players actually are quite consistent that tagged up with the Grizzly squad.
Yeah, it was cool. I was looking back at some of my notes, and obviously they were fraggers throughout the entirety of the tournament, but they were nothing if not consistent, right? They were consistently at the top, besides maybe that very first map, and they did the same in the qualifiers. They made it here in the very last spot given out in the qualifiers because they had the second most combined points throughout all days of the qualifiers. That's how they got here, and they showcased that consistency on the main stage, on a LAN, winning $10,000. Talk about a good day in the office.
Gotta feel real good. Power bang, Rolex fitting together with Chills and Axar, making it work. Take one final look at the maps we saw. I didn't say it earlier, Dave, but you really hit true and home in my heart when I heard you say Stinky Pachinki, because that was every time, like, where we dropping, let's go Stinky Pachinki this time. And then we had a spot in George Pool, like the honey houses or something, the 3 that are set up next to each other. But Stinky Pachinki has a place in my heart. So I'm so glad you said that today. It brought back so many memories, and it was kind of a pivotal point in one of our maps. But how are you feeling about the games today overall?
I'm feeling great. This event was amazing to be a part of. I'm jealous I'm not there to get that pizza. And this was my first time watching. Saying we're all jealous when I get that pizza. This was my first time kind of watching in kind of a competitive format Noosa, and I want to see more. Noosa being the smallest map, in my opinion, most exciting to spectate here on. And you asked me what was my highlight. Something popped up to mind. I think the highlight of my day had to have been Coffee's trademark little dip right there, because that just got swag written all over it. So
it's so good. It's so good. Highlight for you, not final thoughts yet, but just a highlight for you there, Coach.
I think highlight for me, it came down to, I said it in the last one, was Rolex. It was his ability to IGL in the very end of that last map. As much as I love the trash talk and all the drama, it's the high IQ gameplay that really makes this whole event for me. So anyways, that's my highlight, is Rolex being able to call out in the last map for that victory.
Well, we'll call them out one more time because we have the leaderboard coming up. That IGLing brought them all the way to the top in the #1 spot. You can just go left to right. The prizes accordingly. $10,000 in hand already. They have their Galaxy S23 Ultras, so they're taking those home. Everybody's getting the Snapdragon Ultra or Snapdragon Elite Gaming Chair as well. But second place, the Risley Grizzlies being thwarted to the last moment, gentlemen. Taking home the $5,000 and the Galaxy Tab S8 Pluses. Not too shabby there. And third and fourth place, not going home empty-handed either. A nice wad of cash, as well as the Buds 2 Pros. So they can rock out all the way home. And the next time they're playing PUBG with some awesome audio quality. Some crazy games today. I just want to say I appreciate you guys for carrying me through this. It was so much fun and humoring me in all of my small-headed PUBG questions. But I do want your final thoughts here. Goj, I'm going to start with you. What do you got? How was today for you?
Final thoughts. I love being in the booth. I'd been wanting to work with both of you fine gentlemen for a long time. So shout out to Samsung and PUBG Mobile for making this happen. It was so much fun. But one massive shout out, not only to my friends in the content creator space that were able to come out and play, Lily Pichu, who did amazing, those qualifier players. I'm proud of you. I love events where it allows players just like you and I at home to work our way through a series of qualifiers and be able to put ourselves out on the main stage and make a name for ourselves. And a lot of the players were able to do that today. It's my favorite part of the event. So shout out to you guys, and congratulations, of course, to the top dogs.
I love it. Dave, what do you got for us?
only thing for me, fellas, next event, when? We heard PB right there saying round 2. When's round 2 going down? Galaxy Battles round 2. I'm looking forward to that. Shout out to everybody watching here tonight. That's my final thoughts. Round 2, when?
Galaxy Battles Round 2 taking place in space. Just wait. Amazing stuff. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me for the cast today. I appreciate all the insight, and I'm sure everybody loved the commentary as it was so much fun. I am going to leave you now as you depart. It's been an awesome day here at the Samsung Galaxy Battles. Goj and Mustache Dave taking off now. Chief Pat on site doing all the interviews, killing it as he was able to give us all the insight on how the chicken dinners were secured out there. A huge shout out to PUBG, Samsung Mobile, and Snapdragon for putting this event on, and everybody that participated. The 16 content creators, the 16 qualified players who came in through the PUBG Mobile events. As Goj said, it's an opportunity for anyone to go ahead and get into PUBG Mobile. It's a free download. It's free to play. Go check it out on your phone right now. Whatever store you got to go to on your phone, you can get it, and follow the socials for Samsung and PUBG Mobile. Thank you so much, everybody, for myself, the entire live broadcast crew, the casters. We hope you had an amazing time, and we will hope to see you next time. Take care and have a great night.